I'm just saying. Then I went to the Dominican Republic. I met this one-armed gimp, who can't drive his car to save his life. You know what? I gave him an opportunity. We tried to figure out what he's good at. Listen. Yeah, exactly. We tried to figure out what he's good at. Like, okay, try and sell some cars. Like, try building a team. Try going to the races. Can you put a tent up? You've only got one arm. You pay E-Clip to fucking load some buckets with dirt. What are you good at? Then we figure out. We find the golden nugget. He can talk. The man can talk. We start a podcast. People love the podcast. Lefty the Great. We found his niche within a niche. He's a great podcaster. I fucking helped him do that.
Hey guys, Jared Tebow here.
Hey guys, this is Camden Lime.
This is Mike Craddock.
Cole Logden.
This is Elliot Boots.
This is Lee Martin.
This is Ryan Mayfield.
This is Luca Jonas from Taiwan.
This is Richard Saxton.
This is the Mini Viking Telekomsi.
Hola, soy Robert Valle.
This is Mark Johnston from rcparts.co.nz. Qualifying's finished at Nationals 10. I'm 8 beers deep.
This is Ryan Lutz.
What's up, guys? I'm Axel Hodges.
Hey, this is Steve Mattis from Pulp MX.
Hey, this is Jason Wygant from NBC Sports Motocross. I have an Axel Yeti. It's broken. I fix it. It breaks. I'm not using it.
Hello, I'm Armenas Yesikonis, riding motocross for Ice One Racing.
Hey everybody, this is Tim Smith from the TSR Speed Shop.
Nitro is the Glory, right, Keenan?
This is Tyler Jones.
This is the ridiculous one, Jay Smoker, and you're listening to the No Name RC podcast. Ridiculous! Woo!
This is the Viking David Ronafalk, and I would like to congratulate the No Name RC podcast for episode number 100. Nitro is the glory, and Manchester is red.
Nitro is the glory. Welcome to the No Name RC podcast with your host tonight, Keenan White, aka Lefty the Great, and if you are unlucky, the Finnish village idiot, JQ. This is the RC podcast with no name, but plenty of content. So sit back, relax, and get ready for some serious bench racing.
What was the bet? $100, first throw. What is it? What is it? If he gets it in with the left arm, it's $100. Here we go. $100 right here. $100 throw. Oh no! Wait, what was the bet? Wow. Dude, that was amazing. What's your left arm combined?
Yes, indeed. Nitro is the glory, but E-Buggy pays the bills. What's going on, everybody? Excuse me. Welcome to episode number 101 of the No Name RC podcast. I'm your host, Keenan White, a.k.a. Lefty the Great, and we're recording this on video. Awesome. That intro is from episode 100. I know, but I think it's so cool. I have to fix it. I'm probably going to get a professional one done here shortly. But thank you to everybody, man. Honestly, thank you to everybody that tuned into the 100th episode. I greatly appreciate that. It was a little bit intimidating doing that live. I'll get into more of that later. But 101, we took a little break, and we are back this week for episode 101. So thank you to everybody that supported us along this journey. I think we're coming up on our 2-year anniversary here soon, too. So maybe we'll have something for that. I doubt it, but you'll see. Christmas for sure. But yeah. What's up, everybody? I know we took a little bit of a break after episode 100. We had some races. We're going to talk about that. We had, there's not much going on. We have 2 big races coming up this week. Excuse me. That we're going to talk about as well. My guest this week is Josh Wheeler. It's an incredible story. He's awesome. He's one of the fastest guys to ever touch a control. I think if he practiced a little bit right now, he could come back and be competitive within 6 months of actually practicing. But a great inspirational story. Listen to it. If you're going through something, you should listen to his story because that man's story is amazing. And kudos to Josh, great dude. His family are good people. And I hope to see him racing again sometime, but he has a lot of wise things to say. I think you guys should listen to it. I did record this about 3 weeks ago, I think, maybe 2.5 weeks ago. So it was a little bit before our 100th episode, but I got it out. So yeah, check it out, everybody. And let me know what you think. Before I go on any further, I have to say thank you to all of the NNRC squad and all the supporters that supported the podcast from the beginning. I greatly appreciate it. You guys have been awesome. Thank you for sharing everything. Thank you for all the support over the last 2 years and 100 episodes. It's more than 100 episodes. We all know that. But, we couldn't do it without you guys. And honestly, from the bottom of my heart, I know this is emotional. Thank you. Thank you. I greatly appreciate it. And it encourages me to push on forward and make more content, make better content. And I just can't wait to get to races. And big shout out to all of the patrons on Patreon, man. You guys helped this happen. Just got some new equipment through the Patreon money that I'm gonna, when I get it, I'll show you guys. But I'm finally not gonna be using my iPhone as my webcam, which I'm using now. Got a proper camera. You know, Joseph isn't the only one that can have his studio looking nice and have a nice camera and all that stuff, you know, because he's a director now. He's all a YouTube celebrity. I'll tease him about that in a bit. But thank you to all the patrons on Patreon. I greatly appreciate it, man. If you guys want to be a Patreon, the links are in this written description. If you want extra content or you just want to help the podcast out, that every little bit helps me out. We definitely need that for going to races next year. And I greatly appreciate it. Shout out to all the NNRC patrons. And Joseph hates that voice, so I'm going to use it as much as I can on him. And something, look, this is even unusual for me. All right, but we actually have a new title sponsor on this podcast. Yeah. And this came as a surprise a short time ago. Honestly, like a new company contacted me and wanted to promote their brand, Mayako, spelled Mayako. Now, here's the kicker. Here is the kicker. They didn't actually say what they make. They said we have to wait and see it before we just have to wait and see. So we're going to have to, like you, I got to wait and see what they're making. But they contacted me to be a part of the podcast. But they did give me a message to read out to the RC world and all the NNRC listeners. And it goes as follows. It says, vision. Vision is seeing clearly what does not yet exist. When you start on a journey, the only thing you have is vision. Nothing exists yet. Mayako can see the finish line even before we begin the race. So please follow us on mayako.official on Instagram and like Mayako on Facebook. Hey, I don't know what this is, so we got to wait and see, but they contacted me, and now they are the title sponsor of the No Name RC podcast. So thank you to Mayako. It's greatly appreciated. With that said, I would like to go in and say thank you to all of the awesome companies that choose to support us and advertise with us. And they are RCMX Online, Tekno RC. Remember, I don't know if we'll have an NNRC hotline this week. Maybe not, but definitely next week. Beach RC. Go check out Beach RC and get your NNRC. That's a Beach RC hat, but you can get your NNRC hats and shirts from there. You get all your other stuff. And please, if you can't use our affiliate link, it definitely helps us out. Rob's Oil for all of your AMSOIL needs. Check them out at www.robsoil.com. Sun City RC Raceway. They had the U.S. Open here last weekend, I believe. Was a great event. Track looks amazing. We're going to talk about that. Thank you to Joey Showers, Christian, and Corbin, and the SCRC family for their support. It's greatly appreciated. Go check them out if you're in El Paso. Go on the Facebook and like their Facebook page as well. Show them some love. Manscaped.com. Remember, cut through the jungle to find your manhood. We do have a promo code for Manscaped.com. Go to www.manscaped.com. Use promo code NONAME in all caps, and you will save 20% off your order and get free shipping. So cut through that jungle and, clean up your area. Manscaping is a new thing. You don't want to be like you want to be like, how swimmers are? They shave everything before they go in the water to make them faster. Well, it's the same thing for men. Shave everything. You'll be faster and last longer. And shout out to, of course, Papa Willie's Traction Tonic, longtime supporter of the podcast. Scooter and Papa Willie's have been doing big things in the oval world. They're branching out to the off-road section. They have some Traction Tonic for all your needs, man. Check them out. And you have a promo code as well. Use promo code NNRC in all caps, and you save 10% off your order. So check them out. Shout out to Wally Builds. You know, that's my co-host. You got a new intro for the NNRC hotline too. Shout out to Wally. Show him some love. Buy some hats. Send him some kits to build. Check out his trick wiring, all his cool anodizing that he does, and show Wally some love. JQ Threads, not just a company. It's not just a company making clothing. It's a company providing opportunities. I need to get me a JQ Threads hat, actually. Another one, mine's kind of damaged. Hey, big shout out to Connor Ehlers of Duluth Cranes, man. I appreciate your support, man. It was good talking to you yesterday, sorry. And hey, man, hopefully I meet you at a race, and I just appreciate your support, man. Trust me. And of course, JQ Racing, man. I can't go anywhere without my JQ Racing family. They're gearing up to, some are going to Blue Ridge National, some are going to AMS. Thank you guys for all the support. It's greatly appreciated, man. I love my JQ Racing family around the world. I know it's been a rough year, but things will get better in 2021. And hopefully I'll get to some races and we can hang out. And big shout out to some special supporters of the podcast. I've been helping promote some of their products because they're small RC companies. But check out Racecraft, my buddy. Yeah, dude, Chasing Elric. I need to get him on the podcast to talk about it. Command module, it's pretty badass. I think I'm going to get me one. I'm going to do an unboxing of it and all that type of stuff and a review of it, hopefully. Check that out. And check out my boy, Zach Thompson. Hey, congratulations, dude. You just got married. Congratulations to you. Clean Freak, check him out. There is some promo codes attached to that. Just hit him up and he'll hook you up. So thank you to all these companies that support us, all the NNRC squad, patrons, anybody that listens to our podcast, whether you like it or not, it doesn't matter. Just thank you for the support. And if you're a company, a small company or a big company or a track or anything, and you think that this platform is a great way to advertise your business, contact us, man. We have tiers for everybody. And we're willing to work with you. So let us know. And just give us a shout out. So with that said, maybe I should bring in Joseph. He's patiently waiting to show off some new stuff that he's done. You know, he's in super science mode. What's up, Josie? What's up, Beaker?
What's up?
Why am I getting reverb? Uh-oh.
I don't know.
Why am I getting reverb here? Okay. Maybe turn down your it's coming on your end. I think you got your headphones.
I don't know. I don't have anything. I don't know.
All right. It's going on. What's up, Beaker? How you doing, man?
I'm okay. But there's a mega lag on your video. It's really weird. I can't watch you because it's so out of sync.
I don't understand why it is like that. It's slightly off sync. I see that. I don't know how to fix that either.
Yeah.
I don't know. I am filming with my iPhone, and I don't know. Have my new camera coming soon. So
actually, we're really stupid because we're doing this, but we didn't test at all.
I know. That's just how we do things at JQ Racing.
So we might record this whole episode and then figure out that it's shit. But at least hopefully you have the audio.
Yeah, of course I have the audio. We're new. We're still learning this video stuff. You're going all director on us and all that type of stuff. And you've been so busy this last couple of days. But before we go on any further, man, do you see we have a new title sponsor? Mayako.
I saw that.
Look at them. We even have them in
incredible.
You said I'll never get a title sponsor, and look what happened. I didn't even have to look for this one.
I know, but you just got lucky on this one. It's not like you got this.
I know. They contacted me.
You got lucky on this one. How long is it for?
I don't know. They just said, we're going to pay you monthly until we say that we're done. And I'm like, all right. And I'm like, well, is it going to be long term? They're like, yeah, it's going to be long term. I'm like, well, what are you making? They're like, we can't tell you. You'll see. I'm like,
this is a typical lefty deal.
I'm like, so is this all you want me to say on the podcast? So like, yeah, and we'll send you stuff to say later on. I was like, all right, cool. I have no pictures, no nothing, just a logo that's there and what they sent. Vision. That's a pretty cool quote, though. I like that. Someone thought deeply about that.
Well, as long as they don't make another 8-scale nitro buggy, then I'm fine. We already have Infinity coming. We don't need any more. There's enough already.
That's the truth. There is definitely enough chassis out there.
Yeah. Other than that, it's fine.
All right. Well, I guess we'll find out. We'll know when everybody else knows. I guess so.
Okay. What was
thank
it?
you, Mayako. Whoever you are.
I'm gonna go check.
Don't forget to check them on mayako.official on Instagram and Mayako on Facebook. Jake, you don't have Facebook anymore. All right, Joseph. So we celebrated our 100th episode. We did that live about a week and a half ago, I want to say. 2 weeks ago, roughly. Not even that. A week ago. No. More than 2 weeks ago. I can't remember. I'll be honest with you. I was super nervous on that. It was not, I don't feel it was the best episode that we ever had because you was in there. Now you think you're a director and all this stuff. So you was messing with stuff and screwing with my notes and all this
Making
stuff.
them clearer.
Changing rants and all this stuff and all this type of stuff. And you just threw me completely off my game. And, I was really pissed off at you when I was trying to bring in David Ronnefalk. And then you claimed to, get David Ronnefalk on the podcast when I obviously had done the groundwork before that. But you just happened to have a phone to contact him.
Yeah, because he was messaging me like, hey, when am I supposed to come?
I know, but my phone is right here. My phone is videoing me right now. So I wanted to play my damn Tekno because Tekno is the main interview when we don't have the call-ins. You wouldn't let me, man. If I could have slapped you, I would have slapped you right through. Honestly. And then having you and Jeff on at the same time, I was just like, oh my God. I'm here praying to the podcast gods for you guys not to say something inappropriate, super inappropriate. But, the never-ending argument that you guys have didn't.
I had to mute, what's his name? Keaton a couple of times because I was predicting that he was going to go somewhere that wouldn't be good live. So, yeah.
Oh, wow. Anyway, thank you to everybody that tuned into the 100th episode. We are going to be doing video. Check us out on YouTube. Please check out our YouTube channel. Please, No Name RC Podcast YouTube. We need 1,000 subscribers. We're only at 284. We need 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year or earlier so we can start doing bigger things on YouTube. And don't forget, just check us out. Give us a sub. Write a comment, a like, a share. It's greatly appreciated. That's all I ask. So please go to YouTube, search the No Name RC Podcast, and share us, man. We're trying to do more things. I even uploaded a clip from the David Ronnefalk interview from last week. I uploaded it on through there yesterday, I believe. So you can go check that out. My Life in DR video that I'm doing, just collaborated some pictures. I did that on Splice, dude. That little app's so cool. You know what, Joseph? I'm actually going to do something RC related next month. I can't wait.
What's that?
I am going on to Santo Domingo to hang out with the Scale guys. They did it about 2 weeks ago. They did a course, man. They set it up so nice. This guy actually has a course on his roof. But not dirt and all that stuff, but ladders and all this. It actually takes 45 minutes to do a lap on his course. That's crazy. And his roof isn't that big, trust me. But they're good. We're going out into nature, and they outline the trails and mud. So me and my buddy Joba, we're going down. We're going to take my Axial that Matt Harrison gave me. Thank you, Matt. I don't know if you're still if you're into RC anymore, but if you're out there, thank you. I appreciate that. And my Traxxas TRX4, which I love. We're gonna head down to Santo Domingo. We're still on curfew on the weekend, so I have to be back by 7. But the event stops at 2, so that gives us 5 hours to get back home. So we're good. I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to take video of the actual drive down and back. And it's just going to be a comfortable drive because I don't have to leave all early and all that type of stuff. And I can't wait. Scale stuff. And then I'm going to talk to him about no prep drag racing. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. And meet new people. And we need to
at least it's nothing to do with your stupid toys.
Don't hate on my toys. Did you see that my wife snuck in while we was recording and took video? I got audited. Oh my gosh.
I saw that.
She could have shot me in the back of the head. I didn't know she was there.
Why would she shoot you in the back of the head though?
She doesn't need it. She doesn't need an excuse. She's already threatened to stab me and all this type of stuff. And hey,
you know what I just did?
What did you just do?
I just set up my next video. So I have 2 videos filmed already, but the third one then will be with a guest.
Okay.
Talking setup.
All right. So now
deal is done.
You're a YouTube celebrity, JQ, the YouTube celebrity. Don't forget to go check out JQ's 40-minute intro. Trust me, you will fall asleep, but it's pretty cool.
No, it's
but
pretty
it's
good
40
intro.
minutes. Like, just like you, anything that you do, you have to like beat it to death. Like, okay, like beating a dead horse. Like, bop, bop. Oh, like beat. Okay, Joseph,
but you got the message,
bop.
right? You know what I'm doing
I got the
now.
message after 10 minutes.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
No, it's not possible because I didn't get to the message after 10
zooming
minutes.
in on your mole right here?
My nose.
Bollocks nose. It kept. I mean,
nose or mouth.
Okay, you know what? I liked it. I enjoyed it. It was a little long, but I do like this new YouTube career that you have. I know we're gonna do a video soon too. You have the ultimate nitro engine tuning video coming out, and it has literally kicked your ass.
Yeah, and guess how long that is?
An hour and something.
An hour and 17 minutes.
Oh man! And then
some people, hey, listen. Some people make engine tuning videos that are 3 minutes.
Right.
So the long ones are maybe 7 or 17. Mine is 1 hour and 17 minutes, only about the carburetor and tuning the engine.
Well, I'm pretty sure you're gonna go in depth with that.
Yeah. Anyway, back to my guest. So no one's gonna believe this until they see it, but it's Bruno Coelho talking about carpet setup on 4-wheel drive.
I like Bruno a lot. I'm glad that you guys can get together and kind of.
Yeah, it took some convincing, but he's on board.
Well, that's good. That's good because I know he doesn't like you too much. So
I don't know. I mean, who does? So.
Not man. I don't even like you, man.
Well, he made the mistake of saying that we should work together and this and that. So I kind of had. Not like me and him, just in general in RC. So then I said, well, this is a good opportunity to, do that if you really mean it. And what could he say? Then he had to agree. Yeah. So
and it helps him build his brand because, I mean, he is one of the best. He is one of the fastest guys in the world. Like,
yeah. And the annoying thing was that a lot of the questions or feedback I got was to talk about 10th scale and carpet setup and all that kind of stuff. I'm like, fuck that. I never run on carpet because I think it sucks. I don't like it. So I've thought, who better to get on?
I disagree with you. I actually think
the best guy on carpet. And arguably, Bruno is the fastest 10-scale 4-wheel drive driver on carpet. So, yeah, get him on, talk about setup, and make a good video on that.
Yeah, it should be good. I mean, I think he's realizing, like, I need to build. Yes, he's a brand, and this is a way to build his brand. And I'm excited about your YouTube career because now that helps me. You know what I mean? So now I have a few months to learn how to do things before hopefully I get back to racing next year.
Yeah, we can make a decent intro.
Yes, we have to do that. We have to do that.
You actually, you have no right to talk about, making videos and making them long-winded and this and that. Your intros are like seven minutes long.
I know, we got to definitely cut. But that was for the one.
None of the images are cropped correctly.
Oh, shit. Here we go. That's
still, even though you were supposed to fix it.
Oh, well, you know what? You can fix it, being as you're the new video editor. I can't do double quotes. Video YouTube celebrity. YouTube celebrity.
Yep.
That's like thumbs up.
I've made like $6 on YouTube in my career.
Wow.
Yeah.
Fuck. That's pretty good.
Yep. Maybe 8 now. Though. Maybe 8 now that I released these new videos. So
that's a sandwich for you.
Yep.
Oh, I have to talk about I'm so pissed off that you changed the rant. Because I just knew this was going to be an hour of you and Jeff just going, no, it isn't. Yes, it is. No, it isn't. Yes. I felt like I was in the sandbox saying, hey, my sandcastle's bigger than yours for 1 hour. I tried to change the subject. You F me off, muted me. You just think you control everything. Like, this is my podcast. You are the co-host. I direct. Mind you, it did come in handy when we was doing comments and stuff like that because there's a lot to go. Maybe we have to get Scott on to be like Jamie. What you think?
Yeah.
Be like, Jamie, pull that up for me, please. Oh no, what's Steve Mathis?
Pull that up.
What's Steve Mathis guy? Tits something? They call him something Tits.
It used to be Tits Legendary. Now it's Travis Marks.
Travis Marks. Hey, Tits
Travis.
Legendary. Pull that up for me. But yeah, I definitely think for the lives we probably need an extra guy in there to do that type of stuff because it's really hard for me to focus on that. And then you just start doing all that stuff. And we have to record soon too for this ranking video that you're so excited about.
Yeah, that's going to be good.
Oh, good stuff.
Actually, I need to add. You know what? Can I work while we do this?
No, you cannot
I need
work
to.
while you do this. You need to focus. Okay?
Actually, one of the drivers that I forgot, sorry, was Bruno Coelho.
Oh well, you
I
can
need to
add him.
find
We're
a picture
not
of
gonna
him.
record today. Come on, take it easy. Anyway, hey, you know what else happened this week? All these pro racers' Facebooks got hacked. People were getting friend invites and messages from like Adam Drake, T.
Oh yeah,
all this type of.
I saw
all
that.
these pro
Cavalieri,
drivers.
Robert.
Yeah, someone.
There's actually something else. There's something else that's been going on also. Have you noticed? Thibaut, Cavalieri, is Ron Nefalk one of them? A bunch of top guys anyway. Their Instagrams at least have tons of followers, but they're fake. They aren't real followers. Tekno's Facebook also, but I think they've been actually paying for likes for a long time. They have like 200 something thousand likes on Facebook, but it's not real. It's like when you look at how many people like and comment their posts, it's low, same as someone with just a few thousand would get. So they aren't real, but it's strange that because, for example, Robert said he isn't paying for any likes, so I think Cavalieri the same thing, but they just suddenly got this massive amount of likes on Instagram.
It's all about the algorithms, man. All the algorithms. Once you
it's not that. It's not because they aren't real. They're bots.
I know that, but
they're fake.
The bots patch into the algorithms and catch all of that. Like, you know what I mean? Once you like, they don't. If you have 5,000 more or even 10,000 followers, right? That's when you're on the. You have to be very diligent on your IG, because that's when people, like, I'm telling you, man, there's people out there selling it or providing lists to bots and all that type of stuff to send you advertising. So you got to go in and clean all that out, because we don't even, if we had 200,000 people racing 8-scale RC cars, we'd be great. We'd be good. But we don't. But that's weird. It was funny. I saw Travis Candle of Track Walkers. He goes, everybody saw this message from the pros and thought they had made it. I had to laugh. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's actually funny.
Yeah, I know. I had to laugh at that.
What were the messages? I just saw Roberts, which was in Spanish, so I didn't understand it.
Just like, I don't know, just saying hi, what's up, all that type of stuff, and nothing much. I'm almost at my 5,000 friend limit, so I watch who I friend now. I only have like 15 spots left. I gotta go in and delete some friends too. So we shall see. Anything else you want to talk about before we go on any further, Joseph? Because we're going to go into the Manscaped news here now.
Yeah, just go to news. I'm busy.
You're not supposed to be busy. You're supposed to be...
I'm busy. I'm doing a ranking list here.
You can do that afterwards. Let's go, man.
I have to add Bruno, and there was someone else. Oh, Naoto.
You can do that later.
I'll do that right now. Just start the news.
Yeah. Anyway, the Manscaped RC news is brought to you by manscaped.com. For all your manscaping needs, you can get your Lawnmower 3.0, which I personally have and I do use to shorten myself. And I will tell you, I have to get some new blades here soon too. And a buddy told me he got some new blades and he got some ball napkins. I don't know what that's all about, but I definitely want some ball napkins. And I definitely want to get an extra large pair of double X pair of boxers, because I don't know, I haven't worn them. My wife has, and they feel great and they look great on her anyway. So
I think you need bigger than double X.
No, I think double X is fine. Why you always gotta, you know? So check out, I mean, the Lawnmower 3.0 is really cool. It has a LED light that you can use. It's waterproof. I've used it while I've, in the sink, and I wash it off with the sink, like when I'm trimming my beard. I don't, when I go down to the nether regions down there to my private parts, I let my wife deal with all that, because I don't trust myself. And, like, my belly might get in the way too. Just a little bit. But anyway, go to www.manscaped.com. Don't be like Joseph. Cut through the jungle to find your manhood. Use the promo code NONAME in all caps, and you will save 20% off your order, and you will get free shipping. Why has Joseph put me all on this by myself now? All right. So, Joseph, before we go any further, before we go on, I just want to talk about you're an idiot. The two big races that happened while we was in our hiatus. They were the U.S. Open, which happened at Sun City RC, which is run by Tim Lime, which was, and of course, Masters of Dirt at Beach RC, another sponsor of the podcast, which is really big. This is one of the 10 scale races that I want to go to one day. It looks like a lot of fun. But back to U.S. Open. U.S. Open has been happening for a few years now. It's been at SCRC for 3 years, I think, or maybe 2. We had Tim Lime on to talk about it. Excuse me. On the hotline a couple weeks ago, but it was a good turnout. They had a good bit of entries. They had some pros show up, and they only have one class, which I really like about this. One nitro buggy class. So you had Ryan Mayfield first, Tebow second, Ty Tessman making the trip from Canada to Texas. We need to talk about this in a minute. Tanner Denny, Anthony Westergaard, and then Brandon Rose, Chris Morant, Chris Boyce, Ethan Lafrob, Quasi Dill from Bermuda, Cole Ogden, and that's it. So they had 13. That's pretty straightforward. I mean, Cole broke. He should have been up there. He should have beat Tanner Denny. He should have been up in the top 4. Tebow, still consistent. He lost by like 12 seconds to Mayfield, but Mayfield was on fire. He done well. Tessman coming over. He was a lap down on Mayfield and Tebow at the end. Tanner Denny, Westergaard. I don't know, man. You might be able to beat Westergaard now. He seems to have lost some pace here lately.
What's going on?
I don't know, but he has 2 laps down. He's in Virginia right now building the Blue Ridge Nationals track, and it looks badass, by the way. So another great event for the U.S. Open. Let's see how many entries they had here. They had 223 entries, 117 drivers, and they had, let's see, how many classes did they have? They had 1 8-scale E-Buggy, E-Truggy, Nitro Buggy, Nitro Truggy, 40-plus Nitro Buggy, full drive, and rookie. So I love that. Just E-Buggy class, just E-Truggy, Nitro Buggy, Nitro Truggy. No sportsman, intermediate. So you kind of, this is a good, and they did IFMAR style. So that's good too. So there were, odd and even mains, lots of racing. I bet people got a lot of run time on this, at this race. You know what? Let's talk about mod, and then I want to talk about Tessman. So we had Masters of Dirt at Beach RC. Fun race. Lots of fireball being drunk. Lots of different races, like some kind of crazy race they had that you had to last man standing race, which I thought was pretty fun. I saw your nemesis, who I'm heard you're gonna get I think you're gonna get a lot of flack from. Ryan Styles Harris was there. And
he liked my video.
I really enjoy. I need to get him on the podcast, but he won't answer my Facebook. So anybody knows Ryan Styles Harris, tell him I'm trying to get him on the podcast, please. Answer his Facebook questions. I know he probably gets a lot of them, but I want to get some pink pinions on her. And he went. I really enjoyed that video. And I thought that I think I could have won that race. This last man standing race. I would have made a buggy just for that. I'd have got a short course truck and just made bumpers with nails on it or something like that to take people out. But let's see who won. All right, so 2-wheel drive mod buggy. Dustin Evans, Spencer Rifkin, Dakota Fenn, Ron DeVol, Austin Horn, Tom Rinnikernick, Julian Oliveris, Matt Klein, Jackson Brunson, Aiden Horn. No surprises there. I think Jackson would have been a little higher, but he's been focusing on 8-scale. Dustin Evans, the 10-scale specialist, does what a 10-scale specialist needs to do, and that's win. Oh, it was really close between him and Rifkin. It was 0.364 seconds. Woof. That was close.
Hey, weren't you supposed to talk about Tessman? Did I miss that?
Yeah, I am, but I just want to finish this. Anyway, Masters of Dirt race was really good. Brent gave us some keychains. I will get him to send those out to the winners from our 100th episode shortly. He's a bit busy this week as well. He's got Blue Ridge Nationals coming up. So Tessman. Ty Tessman. I'm going to say Canada's great RC hope. The fastest thing in RC to come out of Canada. He's been racing a lot in Canada. I was super surprised to see him at this race. He did go last year. But what surprises me even more is he's back in Canada. And I don't get it. I knew the reason they didn't come over was because of, the borders were kind of closed. I get the borders probably open, or I know you have to do a 14-day quarantine. But if you're gonna come over for that one race, why not stay the extra 2 weeks and do like AMS or Blue Ridge Nationals, which is coming up? You haven't raced since DNC in America, besides the U.S. Open. Why not go to a big race? I wonder why they didn't. Like, this makes my brain click. You know, it really does click. I think my camera shut off. I'm gonna have to go in there and do something. But what do you think, Joseph, about that? I think they came over to do negotiations, to be honest.
Yeah, was there at some point a situation where Canadians weren't allowed to enter America? Or the other way, that you weren't allowed to go to Canada from America?
Americans, the border was closed, but I think Canadians could come across, but they had to do a 14-day quarantine when they went back, no matter what.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So I don't know. If I understand him not doing races in America because of COVID, but then if he goes, then you would assume that he would go for a few races, not just one.
Mm-hmm.
But but there's a lot going on now with Proline being bought by Horizon and Thai runs for Proline. Year coming to an end anyway with the COVID situation. Contract negotiations are probably even more hectic, more difficult. So maybe there's something to that.
Maybe it is something, or maybe they just wanted to. I mean, we are recording this. It is election day. So maybe they wanted to, I don't know, maybe they wanted to get back before elections because they didn't know what was going to happen after election day or what. But I just find it kind of weird that they came back. They came for just that race. They left. I mean, I don't get it. Like, why not go to AMS? It just makes me think like they came over for other reasons, and either things went good or things didn't go as good as they wanted to. You know what I mean? Everybody keeps asking me about silly season. I have heard nothing. All I keep hearing, I heard nothing. I've heard nothing. I don't know who's going to have a job next year. I don't know what's happening. But everything seems to be as per se. Maybe some guys are getting less. You got to also remember, these guys aren't racing as much as they used to, so they're making less contingency. And contingency is a big thing for Ty, too. I don't know, man. It's just odd to me. And we have to be skeptical about what's going to happen to him. I would say he's probably Proline's highest paid driver. You know what I mean? He's been with him for a long time. And there's no secret that I've heard that they want to go J Concepts. I've heard they tried to get to J Concepts before. I've heard that through many different sources. And then there's the whole thing. We keep hearing this whole thing that they might be going TLR. We've heard this for years. I just don't see that happening. Not with Thomas Tran as their new off-road, like their new team manager for off-road. Unless Gord comes in there and go, like if they went to TLR, this is how I can see that. Gord comes in there and he has to be a mechanic for Ty and Fenn. You know what I mean? But then again, Barry Baker has that job, but Barry Baker can't travel to every race because we all know Fenn needs that mechanic so he can finish these nitro races. So I don't know. It's just weird. I just thought it was weird. I thought, okay, yeah, Ty's here. He's going to stay for AMS. Then I saw he's back in Canada working on his sister's truck. So, interesting events, I would say. You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking, at what point, like Ty's, 27 now? 28 maybe? At what point, and he's been with his dad all this time, can Ty win without his dad? What do you think?
Only if he gets another mechanic, I think.
You don't think he can handle everything on his own?
I don't know. I haven't followed closely, but can he actually do all the work himself?
I mean, I'm sure
does he do that ever?
He's been to races on his own, but you
I don't know.
Gord is the obviously the USA team manager of X-Ray, or North America team manager. I don't know. It's just a weird situation, man. I don't know. Is Ty what? I just find that whole situation weird. Maybe we're reading into it too much, but it just seemed weird. I don't know what you guys think. What you guys have heard. I haven't heard anything else about it. So it sucks that you're not in America, dude. Trust me. We can't. We don't. We
don't get any first-hand info.
I know. Reedy race has been canceled. I know that's
Yeah, I
old
saw
news,
that.
but that sucks. That's my favorite 10 scale race of the year. So I don't think and that brings me to my next thing is that UK has been shut down. France is shutting down. UK is shutting down this Thursday for 4 weeks. France is shut down. Talking to Felix. Spain, I think, shut down as well. Oh, yeah, we'll talk about that in a minute. For COVID again, 2021, man, I don't know what's gonna happen, man.
I think the shutdowns will continue at least the first 5-6 months of the year.
I think so too.
So that's gonna suck.
It's gonna suck big giant donkey balls.
Yep.
I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm hoping that it doesn't, because I want to get back to. I mean, I think I can get to races next year, but I want to do RCGP and all that stuff. Anyway, we'll see. We'll cross that bridge when it comes. RC injuries, dude. This is something that I saw. Robert was in the hospital. He got a surgery or something.
That wasn't an RC injury.
I know, but just injuries in RC, I should say. But I forgot to put it in my notes. But man, he was looking really skinny, really bad in that picture. So I messaged him to find out what's happening, and he's okay. He had to get a surgery to get something. I don't want to spread what he had done, but I know he had to get a surgery.
I heard it was a penis enlargement.
You probably need one of those, as well as a circumcision.
I think everyone knows my situation. It's okay.
You definitely need to be circumcised, uncircumcised heathen.
I'm how God intended me to be.
Right.
I'm how God made me.
Yeah, I hope he gets well fast. He says he's feeling better. Yeah, he's on the road to recovery. But he looked really, really frail in that picture. So, I was a little bit worried, but he seems to be all right. And I was listening to Joe Zaire on Round Out of Talent yesterday, and he was talking about the J Concepts Midwest Carpet Nationals, which was a decent sized race. 2 weeks. This happened at the same weekend as the other. It was 3 big races on that weekend. It was a lot of racing going on, just worldwide. And this is so weird. So Brock Champlin won this, right? He won 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive. I don't know exactly how this happened, but he had to go to the hospital, or I believe, or had to get rushed to something, because Lee Setzer elbowed him by mistake as he bent over to marshal a car and hyperextended his hip. But he came back to
Which guy? Lee Setzer?
Lee Setzer elbowed him as he went to marshal a car or something. Brock. But it was like an accident. They must have been running to get a car or something happened.
Mm-hmm.
And he elbowed him in his hip and hyperextended his hip. I have never hyperextended anything, but I hear it hurts. But he went to the hospital. He got it. It hurts at initial, and then the pain goes away apparently. But he won it, man. Brock has been doing some Facebook lives and stuff like that. I checked him out on Facebook. He's a super skinny dude, man. He needs. I mean, I'm a fat dude. He's a skinny dude. He needs to eat some donuts or something. Put on some weight. But
you need to eat more of the hole in the donut.
Thank you, smart ass.
That's what you need.
I only like chocolate donuts from Dunkin' Donuts, to be honest. Someone's hammering on my wall here. Thank you. I appreciate that. But he came back to win 2-wheel drive and 4-wheel drive. So kudos to you, Brock. Very talented young racer. I hope he does more 8 scale next year. And yeah, good stuff. Product news. Let me see if I can get this right. But we have some product news. And just 2 things caught my eyes this week. And it was this right here. Let me see if I can get this right. I'm probably not. But anyway, you guys get the gist of it. These little shock boots right here. Not shock boots, but bump stops. This is something you might be interested in. This is about something like JQ drivers might be interested in. You cut the front chassis tabs off their car. But these are cool little, like what you advise to prevent the car from, the shocks from going up too high when you on up travel. But this is like a little shock. So it looks like a little rubber spring that you put on there, and it helps keep them. So anyway, this is from Team Thornhill has released new shock cushion bump stops which allow for a more consistent plus shock feel. Used to provide absorbing cushions at the bottom of shock strokes, helps prevent chassis from hitting the ground and causing rolls and hard slaps, increases stability in rough conditions, and reduces traction rolls. Use provided O-rings to adjust spacing of cushioning to engage when car chassis is 4 to 5 millimeters from ground. Able to use shock setups with less pack to increase bump handling and still not bottom out. Install with small hurling cushioning facing up, blah, blah, blah. We've been doing this for a long time with O-rings and plastic pieces on our cars, though, Joseph.
Yeah, but we typically don't set it so far that they start engaging before the chassis hits the ground. I mean, that's how it is in motocross, and the cars also, they have bump stops. We don't really use them. We have a bump stop, but it doesn't engage until the chassis has already hit the ground. So yeah, this is interesting. It will be nice to see how they work.
Yeah, for sure. I think some of the JQ guys should get some of these, especially for the guys who are running no front droop tabs.
Yeah, but the droop tab has nothing to do with that. Droop is the other direction.
Right. I'm got it reversed. I'm thinking of internal in the shock. Yeah. Got you. All right, let's see what else. AKA has come up with a new tire. Well, not a new tire, but they have brought out a scribble tire for their truggy. Let me get it up on her. Hold on. AKA's new truggy scribble. I think you guys can see it. Their scribble tire was pretty popular for 10 scale, and they recently, I say before COVID struck, they bought out the scribble for 8 scale, and now they have the scribble for truggies. So all you truggy guys out there, here you go. AKA Products is proud to announce their 8-scale truggy version of their best-selling scribble tire. Based on the evolutionary tread design of the 10-scale scribble, the 8-scale truggy scribble will reshape how you currently think about tread selection on all surfaces. The innovative weave platform of the scribble lends support to tread and allows for even tire wear across the surface of the tire. The voids in the scribble pattern allow it to grip through light dust and accumulates during a race. The weave pattern, also features enough rubber in the design to make sure that the tire will have the wear resistance to hold up run after run. There you go, Joseph. You don't run AKA no more, so no good for you. But yeah, check them out. www.raceaka.com. The Scribble.
The Scribble.
Did you ever try those tires, or they came out after your time at AKA?
After my time, yeah. I haven't tried them.
Sweet. All right. Upcoming races. All right. So we have the Alabama's Manufacturer Shootout, number 11, which is happening on this weekend coming. I still can. You're too close to the mic. You gotta turn your headphones on, man. I can hear myself coming through the mic. Come on, man. You want to be a YouTube celebrity? Learn proper mic technique. What are you bringing up here? I gotta worry about you. What are you doing here, Joseph?
It wasn't supposed to come there yet. I was preparing something.
So long as you don't have like
Just
a picture
go
of your
on.
penis pump or something up there, your future penis pump that you're buying or something like that. I'm good. So that's happening. This race was actually supposed to happen in June, but it got postponed. And then we have the Blue Ridge Nationals. Factory Tracks released which are a sponsor of this podcast. I should probably play their intro right now, innit? I should play their commercial. What do you think, Joseph? Should I play the Blue Ridge Nationals commercial? I think so. I got it. I might as well use it.
We may be coming up on the end of the racing season, but we are not running off into the hills. Oh no, not exactly.
It's time for the Blue Ridge Nationals. November 6th, 7th, and 8th in Whitville, Virginia. Scale Racing Sports and BeachRC.com present the return of the Blue Ridge Nationals, where we race heads up all the time. Classes include 1/8 scale nitro, 1/8 scale electric, and 1/5 scale gas. Friday is a full day of practice, and Sunday. Last chance qualifiers and 30-minute main events for all adult classes. epic truck designed by Anthony Westergaard and Factory Tracks. Badass trophies from Owing Vinyl Graphics and Metal Art. And live event coverage from Matt Olson and Mod Live Media. Plus on-site concessions, free parking, free camping, free indoor pit area, and the largest driver stand and pit road you have ever seen. For more information, follow, like, and share us on Facebook at Scale Racing Sports. Event registration is open now at rcsignup.com. Don't miss the last big indoor arena event of the season. November 6th, 7th, and 8th, Apex Center, Woodville, Virginia. We'll see you at the Blue Ridge.
Yes, thank you to Scale Racing Sports for their support of the podcast. Good luck to everybody going to the Blue Ridge Nationals. The track looks great. Joseph, focus. Look at me. We're back. He's not even listening to me.
We're back.
Yeah, we're back. Your video is choppy too. You must be doing something on your internet. That's what's going on. You're super choppy. Stop downloading stuff.
No, my internet just sucks.
Yeah, we need to.
Not downloading.
He finally admits it. He finally admits it. Blue Ridge Nationals. Anthony's there. I think actually though, Anthony's up there early building the track, but I think is going AMS. So, you know, I'm really happy that it looks like this race is going to get a decent turnout. Not as big as, you know, AMS, obviously. Probably about 200 entries, maybe 250, 100 plus people, which you may think, okay, that's not a big turnout. But for this event, it is, because the last two events that they had there have not had a really big turnout. But I think they're going to get it now. They got, you know, Anthony in there and built it. And the thing is, this track's so big, they still have, this arena so big, they still have space they didn't use, which I'm glad, because just because you have a bunch of space doesn't mean you have to make a track so enormous you can't see your car. So kudos to them. Track looks awesome. Can't wait to see it all, you know, when it's all cleaned up and all that stuff. And I think it's going to be a good event. It's going to be a great event for people who just want to go, get some run time, have comfortable race, be out of there early, get lots of run time. Bam. Good stuff. I look forward to this. He needs it. It needs to be popular. Let's go Blue Ridge Nationals. Good luck, everybody. AMS. Now, AMS was moved to this date. Now, I'm going to say this. I'm going to come out and say this. I like Dave. I like his events. I think he does the best indoor events in RC. I'm not big on the entries, but I get it. We need to get the entries in so you can make money. This is about making money. I get that. I totally do. I know you don't like his practice schedule too much. I like it. Dave's always treated us good. I know it sucks that this is on the same day, but I know they kind of did this on purpose because these two guys are kind of having beef. I mean, this is in Virginia. Dave's in Alabama, so it is a pretty good distance apart. Yes, probably they're taking entries from each other more than anything, but I just wish these guys could have worked it out so they had this races on 2 different days. Like this AMS could have been later on in November or December. There's no racing going on in December. But I guess this is the only thing they could do, the only date. But I don't know. But AMS is going to be stacked. It's going to have all the pros there. Like all the pros are going there, besides Tessman. It's not going. And I've been to this race. I went in 2018 in June. It was hot as balls. I had fun. It was the biggest jump I've ever jumped. Last year track was a bit, people complained about it, but I thought it made for great racing. I think Cody won there too. Opened there last year. Can't remember. It won Open there or Wicked Weekend. One of the two. No, it was probably Wicked Weekend. And it's going to be a good event, but we can't see the track until it's released. So they're not going to release it anytime soon. So we shall see. We have a lot to talk about next week with the AMS race, I think, Joseph. Any predictions on who you think is going to win her? All the fast guys are going.
If everyone's going, then I mean it will be about the same guys. So
I think so too. I think
Mayfield, Tebow, is Rivkin going?
Yeah.
So Rivkin will be good.
I'm going on a limb. I'm gonna choose Cav for this race. I'm not gonna choose Fend. I'm choosing Cav.
Well, at least you're learning. I'm proud of you.
Watch him win now. Watch him freaking win.
Sure.
Oh my gosh. What do you think about these two races being planned on the same day, man? I think it hurts each other, man. But I get
of course. I'm not surprised.
I mean, okay, people were complaining about when RCGP, the Philippine race was the same day as Silver State. But the difference was the Philippine race is always on that date. Philippine Masters was always on that race. And we're talking about races that were 12 hours apart. Like a complete entire freaking ocean apart, not, a couple of states. So,
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I think it's going to be good for BRN, Blue Ridge Nationals. He gets his trophies and his entries in there. He kind of realized he needed to get a good track built. That's got people excited. Of course, Bobby's going to knock it out of the park at AMS. They're probably waiting to see what Blue Ridge Nationals does. It's like, competition's good too. But competition's good. It's good for the racer. So let's see what's going to happen. But I'm pretty sure AMS is going to be the race to be at this week. And for competition-wise, and Blue Ridge will be decent. We have a few guys going up there as well, JQ guys, and we have a few guys going to AMS. So I wish them all the best. And hey, if you're rocking some NNRC gear at any of these races, take some pictures and tag us, Instagram or Facebook, so we can, you can show us some love, and we can show you some love too. All right, Joseph. Anything else to say about RC News? Anything you wanted to say before we move on?
Yeah, one thing.
What's that?
It's this. This is the ranking video we're going to be doing. So just so you know, check out all these guys. We're going to rank all these people.
How did you make it on this ranking video?
Obviously, I have to be here, right? I mean, we got Mayfield, Tipo, Buffalo. No, these are all the guys here.
So, but you're not even in the top 25.
This is 26 guys.
Okay, so you're number 26.
It doesn't work like that. So we have ridiculous God level up here, and then the done and whatever. What does it say there?
I can't see it.
Done and or never was level.
Well, that would be you. I can say that already.
So anyway, there are 5 levels, and we need to rank all these drivers. So I mean, we have Savoya over there. He's got a pretty good picture, I think. Tessman's here, Kilich brothers. So it's going to be fun.
I like that. It's going to be fun because it's mixed. Europe, it's well mixed. We can talk about it.
Yeah, and this is that true ranking. There's no secret mathematical formula to this. This is just pure emotion and some facts sprinkled in. Some actual race results.
A little bit of facts sprinkled in.
Yeah, so that's how we do it. That's how we're going to rank these drivers. So we're going to be filming that this week, release it, I don't know, probably release it next week.
Yeah, we have to film it. We'll probably get to it this week sometime.
Sounds good.
I have to wait for you for like 2 hours like I did this morning. Excuse me.
What do you mean?
Did that come out loud? I just burped. Sorry, everybody. Excuse me. All right. I think that's all we have. We have the ranking video coming up. We need to go to the Beach RC Bench Racing Q&A.
BeachRC.com, the racers' one-stop online hobby shop. Choose from all the popular brands and variety in stock with super fast shipping and great customer service. BeachRC.com still has the local hobby shop feel with all the benefits of the internet. BeachRC.com is the exclusive distributor for Ultimate Racing, JQ Racing, Pro Circuit Racing Tires, Nitro Lux Fuels, and Assault RC Performance products. So fill up your cart and check out at BeachRC.com today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, Beach RC, for all of your support. It's greatly appreciated. They will be at both races this weekend. They will be at BRN, Blue Ridge Nationals, and at AMS because they sponsored both. So they'll be both there. I think Lucas is going to be at AMS because it's obviously the bigger race. Not too sure it's going to be at Blue Ridge Nationals. So check out Beach RC. Please, we have an affiliate link in the description. If you can use that, it really helps us out. And hey, thank you to Brent, Lucas, and all the Beach RC guys who have been showing us support from the get-go. If it was, JQ family, everything, just, supported the podcast since the inception. All right, Joseph, so we have some questions. And actually, you know what? Mike Walker has a question, but I'm going to make that the thought of the day because we need to talk about that. All right. we got a few truggy questions, but I'm gonna try and lump them all in one so we can do one explanation. All right. He says, can JQ right RC? What's up, dude? Good to see you back racing RC cars. You went missing for a little while. I was worried about you, but you're back. Good, cool, dude. Can JQ Racing partner with a company that makes a truggy since JQ won't make one? Well, I mean, you always ran AE truggies, but I don't know if you can offer a deal for that, or if you ever had a deal for that. So, no idea.
Well, not really, no.
Yeah. I don't know, man. You have to find a company that has a truggy and use that until we have one. But we're going to talk about truggy in a minute. He also asked, will Assault RC make titanium screw sets for the car? I love the titanium turnbuckles and carbon fiber hop-ups. Unsure. I know T-Rex makes a titanium screw kit, but you only want that on the top of your car. Definitely not on the bottom chassis part of your car. And Mike Walker says, and when is Joseph going to make truggy racing great again? We're going to touch on truggy here in a minute.
Why all the truggy questions all of a sudden?
Shush your mouth. You'll get into the truggy stuff. Brett Ryan from Australia. He says, hi, guys. I'm just curious why different shock oil weight is used for front and rear when the piston is already different. I try to use them. I know. I butchered the Australian accent. I'm sorry.
Hey, mate.
He just wants to know, and I asked him which pistons are you using. He says, no, I come from 10 scale, and he just wants to know why the shock weight oil is different front and rear. So there you go. Oh, great oracle of RC setup. Did you?
What am I supposed to answer? Is this shock weight question?
Yes, he wants to know why there is different shock oil weight used in the front and the rear when the piston is already different.
Well, if the piston is already different, then that's even more reason to use different shock weight. So I don't understand that part of the question, to be honest. I think a more relevant question would be, why would you use different shock oil front to rear if you use the same piston? Because then you could assume that, well, I'm using the same piston, so I want the shock to feel the same front and rear. Why don't I use the same oil? That would be a more relevant question. So I'm taking the authority to modify his question to using the same piston front and rear. Why don't you use the same oil? I'm officially signing the document right now. Yep. Signed, changed the question. Okay, here goes. This is why you don't use the same shock oil front and rear, usually. Because the way the suspension geometry works is there's something called a motion ratio, how much the wheel moves in comparison to the piston. There's a ratio to that. The wheel moves more than the piston. When the piston moves closer to the same amount as the wheel, which if they move the same amount, the ratio would be 1-to-1. It isn't. The piston moves less than the wheel. The closer it is to 1-to-1, the faster the piston moves. So because of this difference, you want to use different oils because the piston is moving at a different speed inside the shock body. And also, well, it's not linear, it's progressive. So as the piston moves further into the body, the speed also changes. It increases in our cars. So it's also progressive. So the piston doesn't move the same in the front shocks and the rear shocks. And that's why we use different oils.
You know what? I have something for you. You'll like this.
Well, Dak, here's the deal. I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence.
Pretty much.
In your own mind. Thanks, Brent.
Yep.
I hope that answered your question. And thank you for tuning in all the way from Australia. All right, next up is Evan Osborne. JQ, I recently watched your YouTube video on roll centers, and there was one thing I didn't get. You said if the shock piston is running higher in the body, it will feel stiffer because there is more pressure. Why is this? I would think it takes the same amount of force to move the piston no matter where it is. And he actually got his answer from Cody Grams.
Well, before you read Cody's answer, the pressure is because the shock shaft moves into the body along with the piston. So obviously the shock shaft has to take up volume, and that's what raises the pressure.
You know what? That's exactly what he said.
There you go.
Strong am I with the force.
There you go.
Yep.
So Cody Grams had it right. Thank you, Evan Osborne, and thank you for the questions. Jeff Werner, what's up, Coach? Congratulations to your team. They made it into the semifinals, I think, or something. He was telling me the other day. I like Jeff. We have really great conversations. Of all the teams that supports 8-scale Nitro Off-Road, which team do you feel currently has the best roster of driver talent at the top level of RC? Ooh, that's a good question. This is my type of shit right here. I love these type of questions.
Okay, we have to think. So, Associated is really good. They have
Rivkin,
Ongaro.
Evans, Craig.
Isn't this only about 8-scale?
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Well, Craig races 8-scale. Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, Evans, no. They got Cole Tollard. They got
Cole Tollard, Joona Haatanen too, if he did more 8-scale races.
Jackson, you can't sleep on Jackson Brunson, man. He's
Jackson Brunson. They have many really good drivers. HB has Ronnefalk, Ogden as the main guys, and then in America they have some other decent main guys.
Well, we know who has the most people. It's S-Works because they have everybody.
Yeah, S-Works, Cavalieri, Boots, Canas, Neumann.
Yeah. And then they have a lot of young guys coming up too.
In Europe, S-Works probably has the best, I would say. And in America, but in America they don't really. They have Cavalieri, and then there's a bit of a gap.
They have Camden. And they're
like I said, they have Cavalieri, and then there's a bit of a gap.
You know what?
What?
I'm just gonna slap you when I see you again multiple times.
So Europe, I would say S-Works. America, I wouldn't. Mugen has Robert, Mayfield, Drake.
Nato.
Yeah, it's kind of Infinity, but runs a Mugen.
Mugen?
Oh, actually ran a Mugen. I don't know. I think he's running like a prototype now.
Well, okay. All right. I don't know, man.
I don't know. It's hard to say, really.
Yeah, I would agree.
Was it just who has the broadest sort of good team, or
who has the best roster of driver talent at the top level of RC? I'm gonna throw I'm throwing Tekno in there, man, because they have Tebow, who's rejuvenated his career, and as much crap as you like to talk about Joe Bornhorst, he's definitely improved. And then they have Seth coming up behind him. And
how has he improved? He's just been average the whole time.
He's better than you. Either he's improved.
How is that relevant?
You've gotten worse. One of the two.
How is that relevant?
Because
we haven't raced each other.
Yes, you have. You've been at the same races. You just haven't been in the race. That's what happens. You've been at the same races. You just been in below it. So
Kilich also with me again.
Yeah, Kilich brothers.
Well, Tekno has no one in Europe. No, Tekno has no one outside of America, so they're out. In America, okay, they have Tebow, Bornhorst, and Seth.
But they have a great team. Like they have Wiggins behind, like doing leg work. They have a great team. I think.
Yeah, but this is global, not just US.
Shut up.
He didn't ask about just the US.
You know the good thing about this video is that I can do this to you. Shut up.
He didn't ask about only the US, so let's give him an answer. Globally, okay, Tekno is out because they are America only. Globally, S-Works is... No, I'm fucking telling the truth. Okay. They have nobody in Europe, so obviously, and no one in Asia. So globally, they aren't a factor. They don't send these guys to races all around the world. They race in America, and that's it, pretty much. Okay. Am I right?
Yes, you are.
Okay. There we go. S-Works. Decent because they have Cavalieri in America. But, you know, that's it. Europe, super strong. Asia, strong. So they are a step above Tekno because of that. Globally, S-Works has a better roster of drivers than Tekno. Do you see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, then we look at someone else. Kyosho, okay, forget about it. Not enough good drivers, right? Polito, Figueiredo. I mean... Savoia, it's just not good enough. Europe, okay, but America, no one. CJ Jelin, I mean, come on, be honest. It's not strong enough. TLR, no.
Coyote, TLR, no. TLR is
Who
looking
else?
good on the 10
Mugen.
scale.
Mugen decent because they have Drake and Mayfield in America. Europe is Kilic and Robert. That's pretty good. HB, Ronnefalk, Ogden.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Mugen is stronger than that.
But then I think
Associated
is really big in Asia and Australia too.
I don't know. I think S-Works is better.
Big.
Associated Ongar or
maybe in Asia.
Rivkin.
Maybe in Asia.
Ongar or Rivkin, and then other good guys. So I don't know. I honestly, if I had to pick one now, it would be between Associated and S-Works.
Really?
Yeah. X-Ray have Tessman, but Buffalo. Most have two good, but then the decision has to be the next guys after that. And see, in Asia and Europe, S-Works have a lot of next guys. And in America, they have Camden Lime and who else? I don't know. Do they have anyone else?
They have.
So they're pretty weak in America.
They have Shane Barrier.
Okay, so they have Shane Barrier and Camden Lime. So S-Works is strong in Europe, strong in Asia, weak in America. Associated is strong in America, strong in Europe, weak in Asia.
Yeah, strong in Australia.
Yeah. Okay.
Bernard Zach is fucking amazing.
Yeah, strong there, yes.
That kid's fast. And you know the
So it's really hard to pick, but I guess those would be the number one candidates. Associated and S-Works.
We could actually, that would be like a long, we've been on that long enough, but that would take us like a long time to discuss that. We would need a third person in that one.
Yeah.
All right, great question, Coach. Great question. Jason Chouinard. I said it wrong. Is how do I get more front droop without cutting the tabs off the chassis? Again, Cody Grams answers this one. Joseph?
What was the question?
How do I get more front droop without cutting the tabs off the chassis? He has a Black Edition e-buggy.
You cut the tabs off the chassis.
He doesn't want to cut the tabs off the chassis.
Well, then don't get more droop.
He can Dremel the arms too. More.
Yeah, I mean, Dremel the arms where they hit the tabs, obviously, since that's why you take the tabs off, because they hit the arms. And then also check for C-hub clearance during droop to make sure that the C-hub clears.
Yeah.
So I mean, the latest arms you don't need to do anything if you have those tabs cut. Then great. And even if you don't cut the tabs, you still get enough droop with the latest arms because they're already modified. So don't really need to do anything.
All right. Good stuff. Good stuff. Next question is. Hold on, let me find it. Okay. It's not there. All right, let's go into the next question from Joe Zer Jr. Ran out of talent. Joe asked, there has been a lot of controversy with tracks and their max cap. People wearing masks or not, or people having a problem with them just being open. Should people be calling this out, or should they just keep their eye on their own bobber? Legit question. You know what, man? I'm so sick of this masks and people not liking people that wear masks and people being pissed off at people that don't wear masks and all that type of stuff. I'm going to tell you, here in the DR, we are still on curfew at 9 o'clock. You have to be inside. It's a little flexible during the week, and during the weekends, you have to be in by 7. Right? Why? Because they don't want people out nightclubbing and all that type of stuff late at night. All that, just big congregations of people. Not saying it doesn't happen during the day. Also, you have to wear a mask anywhere you go here. Any shop you go into, you have to wear a mask. You have to stand in a line. You have to be socially distant. You have to stand at little spaces. If the freaking DR can do this and people can pay attention to that, then the rest of the world can do it. I'm like, man, I don't have a problem wearing a mask. It sucks. I've worked underground. I've had to wear a respirator for 12 hours a day, because you don't, and bigger masks than that actually, you wear because you don't want to suck, but you want to keep as much of that stuff underground out of your lungs as possible. and people being pricks, man, like being snitches and all that stuff. Like, I'm just like I don't know what we're getting into in life, like where we have to what happened to snitches get stitches, like, you know, like why are we always like quick to just call out people on everything? Like, I get people have to call on dumb shit. If they're following the rules for that particular state and everything, I'm cool with it. I don't know the rules for every state, but man, you see people freaking out over podium pictures all masks. Oh, and even these people who are against masks, just wear them. Like, just, it's not that hard. Like, it's not that hard. I get it's aggravating, but like, at least for the podium pictures, wear the masks. Like, I don't know, man. You know what? A mask is another way to promote all your sponsors. If you got all these sponsors, you can have your whole mask full of sponsors. Nobody cares about shirts anymore. Masks full of sponsors. Next thing you know, you have like people with ninja masks and they have sponsors all over them. Just see their eyes. You don't even know who it is. But
only in America would they make something like wearing masks a political issue. You can. It's basically like this: if someone's against masks, then you know that they're Republican.
I don't.
It's incredible.
Yeah, I know that, but I don't really want
incredible.
to get into all of that. I just want to say, like, this is not. You know, I don't do politics, sir. Take it easy. I know today is your Super Bowl of politics because it's election day in America. Calm your
Yeah,
tits.
but I'm just saying it's ridiculous.
I think the whole infighting is ridiculous. I'm so tired of it. I'm so fed up with it. I don't look, man. I have my wife and my children to look after. That's who I look after. I wear a mask to protect others. I guess it doesn't protect me. Whatever. I wear a mask when I go to places. I wear a mask when I'm out in public. Okay, when I walk back and forth to the office, I don't really wear a mask. But you know what? The cops could stop me and fucking harass me and probably take me to jail if I'm not wearing a mask. You know? So before everybody's complaining about that, think I might get put in jail for not wearing a mask. And Lefty doesn't want to go jail. Not in DR anyway. I just so over all that bullshit, man. I'm so over it. Like, I want to get back to races next year. If I have to wear a fucking mask to do that, I'll bring my whole, I have like this whole breathing apparatus that I use for spraying shotcrete that has a whole face shield with a battery pack and all that stuff. I'll wear that if it allows me to go back to racing. Because in Europe, they're shutting down shit, right? And here, we have a curfew. So I don't know. Anyway, that's my rant. Like, worry about yourself. If you see people over there not being safe, stay away from them. Don't, like, just come on. Like everybody, you're wearing a mask. You're an idiot. Oh, you're not wearing a mask. You're an idiot. Nobody wins. It's like the never-ending argument between you and Jeff. Anyway, that's how I feel about that. Wear your mask. Keep everybody safe. That's my opinion. You don't want a mask? That's your decision too. But if they make it mandatory to wear a mask, wear it. Because, you know, people like me can go jail if I don't wear a mask. I'm not saying they're putting people in jail for that, but that's what I'm told. Adamian Reevy, now that NASA has accomplished what they have tried to do for years and found what could be water on the moon, does this give hope for JQ hope of one day finding a girlfriend? Well, I told you, if you come down here and hang out with me for a few months, yeah, you'll get a girlfriend. You have a few girlfriends.
Okay.
No girlfriend on the horizon for you, Joseph? Just not in the books? Fully
I've had one for a few months already.
You didn't even tell me.
I told you, but you didn't believe me.
No. I didn't know you had a
I did. I did. And it was on a WhatsApp group, I think. Maybe you and Scott, I can't remember. And neither of you believed me and just made fun of it. And I just joined in.
So who's this imaginary girl? Is she the invisible woman?
Yeah.
Was she finished?
She's invisible. Just I'll leave it as a mystery.
Oh, you don't want to tell nobody, hey?
No.
All right. Next question is from David Brashears. Being a newbie, I have been running pre-mounted tires and have good success. And I've had good success. I've been thinking about moving to gluing my own tires. Is there a real advantage in gluing my own? What is the benefits of this? And thanks for the great podcast. Well, thank you, David, for the support. Go ahead, Joseph. You can handle that one. I'm looking for another question here.
I wasn't paying attention.
You never pay attention. He wants to know if he's been using pre-glues. He wants to know if there's an advantage to gluing up his own tires because he's a newbie. So he's going to go into gluing up tires.
No, get pre-glued. Save your time and health. Mental health.
I'll be honest with you. I kind of like I hate two things I hate in RC is I don't mind gluing tires. I hate prepping tires to glue and clutch work. I hate doing clutch work. I can do it. I just hate clutch work because it's hard with my hand. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know about that. I like pre-glueds too. The Pro Circuit ones are pretty good. Which were the best pre-glueds of the RCGP series, you think?
The HB ones, they want problems, and yeah, the HB ones were the best, as in quality-wise.
I mean, at some point, David, you will have to learn how to glue your tires. The first thing I'm going to say is clean them. Like use some acetone. I like acetone, and just clean that bead clean that bead until when you rub your napkin, like I use shop towel or microfiber towel. You rub that until you're getting black stuff coming off. If it's still brawn, that's the solution that they use, mold release solution, and that's what you want off your tire. That's what causes your tire to come unglued. So
AKA have also been good pre-glued always.
Okay. But and most people glue their tires because they may want to modify their foams or they may want to put different foams in there. But if you're happy with pre-glued, stick with it and then you can learn how to glue. You know, it's an art to glue in tires. That's why some people, that's all their jobs they do at races is gluing tires. So anyway, good question, David. Dave Carmendi, Katie's husband of Race Like a Girl podcast. They're going to Blue Ridge, I think, this week. I was cutting a new body. He's an engineer, by the way. I was cutting a new body, and it got me thinking, 1/8 and underside aero, Velcro or not, anything to this?
I mean, it doesn't really make a difference, I think.
Can we explain this for idiots like me? Does he mean like under the carriage airflow, like and making the car stick and all that stuff?
You mean he means an underbody?
Oh, what like they used to have on the 4-wheel drive cars
for the short course, like they had on the short course cars. Like you have read it again.
I was cutting a new body and it got me thinking, 1/8 and underside aero, AERO.
Velcro under the chassis.
Yeah.
Velcro, do you mean Velcro or not?
I think it means.
Okay, so I think it means just to secure the body so it's tight around the side guards and all that stuff. No, that's not. No.
I think it looks.
I don't see it making a difference.
It looks better. I prefer to have that than my body flopping all over the place. I think it makes your body stronger. You know what? Stay right there. You're actually perfect where you're positioned talking. You got to learn some mic technique there, Mr. Quaid.
I'm further away now.
But you sound all right. I don't hear myself in the headphones. Curtis Wong. I like how Curtis thinks. JQ Canada. When is Lefty getting a raise?
Lefty's been getting constant raises. And he's also his own man soon. I mean, that's the goal, right? Joe Rogan is his own boss.
Rubber boots. I got some really long rubber boots that come up past my knee because the shit is getting thick. No raise for me. Honestly, I don't know what's gonna happen to 21. We're gonna do something different here. I mean, the podcast is becoming more full time. We have some sponsors. I mean, this isn't like the biggest money making thing. We're trying to make, obviously this is we're doing something full time. You should get paid for it. But the Patreon money definitely helps me out a lot. So if you want to be a Patreon, go check it out, man. That helps me out directly. It only costs $5. So, or whatever you want, to be honest. So good stuff. Thank you, Curtis, for the question. Darren Johnston. With JQ's new career as a YouTube superstar, who will take over as the main factory driver at JQ Racing? Well, we should have got rid of him as factory. I don't even know if you're a factory driver anymore. Yep. Man,
I don't know if I race RC cars anymore. Last time was a long time ago.
Yeah, I don't even know if After that performance at your last performance at DNC, I don't even know if you're a factory driver anymore. Factory driver, no.
Well, we have Aaron Dexter, but he lives in the middle of nowhere, Australia.
Yeah, if we could get him to America, it'd be great. Cody is good, but he's focused on football right now. That'd be over right now. He's a multiple sport. Oh man, that dude's gonna make money in whatever he does. Like, I told him already, man. He's like, I want to be a pro RC driver. It's like, yes, but be a pro baseball player, and then you can build what you can have. You can have your own RC company after that.
Yeah.
I said JQ is going to need investors, so go become a pro baseball player. Yeah, I don't know. We got young Cole Cabre. He's coming up to another young driver. We got Braden over there, and Jack, little Jack sounds like he's going to be good too, over there in Australia. And we have Adam. We have Felix, but nobody on that level. I think if the thylacine came to America more, if he could get to America and spend some time there, he'd get really good. I think if he could get to the other side of Australia with like McBride and Bernadzek and those guys, he would improve. But he was telling me the other day he's going on to race in Australia next month, 5,000 kilometer road trip. I said, document it, dude. Knowing that,
yeah, that's far.
Yeah, he's like, we'll go through desert. I said, I don't care. Document it. Document that stuff, man. Ryan Steck, JQ Racing Canada. What's up, Ryan? Will reverse Ackerman ever have a place in off-road racing? I'm not a engineer. What the heck is he talking about?
The wheels. So if this is the wheels of the car, the front tires, when they turn, if they turn parallel to each other, that's no Ackerman. And then if the inside wheel turns more because it's going around a smaller radius circle than the outside, so for the tires not to slip or scrub on the surface of the track when you're turning, they can't turn the same. The inside has to turn more. That's the difference in the tires angles, is the Ackerman angle. So reverse Ackerman would be if the outside turns more, but it's like the opposite to what's actually needed. And no, I don't think so, because
does any form of racing or vehicle use reverse Ackerman?
I think maybe they do in something like two-wheel drive on-road stuff, like Formula One. Maybe they use something like that at times. So
I'm still confused.
The point being that it turns the front wheels to a different degree. So parallel steer would be that both the inside and outside wheel turn the same amount. With Ackerman, the inside wheel turns more,
right,
than the outside wheel. Do you see? And reverse, the outside turns more than the inside.
How would you even do that?
How? Yeah. Just the same. You do it the same as you do now. Right now, if you look at the steering knuckle from above, you have the kingpin where the wheel turns around, and then to the inside of that, you have the steering link. That gives you Ackerman. The further inside that is, the more Ackerman you have. So I guess if you go outside, then you would get outside of the kingpin, then you would get reverse Ackerman, maybe. I haven't even thought about it, but that's my assumption. But anyway, so that's not something that we would do, because we want some Ackerman so that it smooths out the steering. We don't want too aggressive steering, and also we want to find the right Ackerman setting so that the car turns nicely in the really tight corners. So
interesting. You know what I like about this video is that now I can see what you mean. Like you made the example of your hands, it makes things so much easier. I like that. Good thinking.
Yeah.
Good thinking. You know what? You got another.
Well, Dak, here's the deal. I'm the best there is, plain and simple. I mean, I wake up in the morning, I piss excellence.
There you go. You piss excellence.
Pretty much.
All right. Our final question comes. Actually, this is our combined Truggy questions. So we had quite a few. Axel Owen. What's up, Axel? How's your... I almost let it loose, but Axel had an RC injury a few weeks ago. I hope it's healed up. He did it all to himself too. He goes, at every race I've been to recently, people have multiple cars of the same brand: E-Buggy, E-Truggy, Nitro Buggy, Truggy, etc. Is it really that difficult to make a Truggy conversion? Please explain. Chassis extension, longer arms, universal turnbuckles. Okay, hold on for a second. We'll get to that. I could care less about truggy, but if I was new and going to do both classes, which almost everyone does now, I would buy a brand that I wouldn't buy a brand that only sold a buggy. I agree with
There's
you
your
there.
Ackerman.
Okay, there we go. And a great example of the Ackerman. Okay,
Ackerman inside wheel is turning more than outside. Parallel steer, they turn the same. Reverse, outside turns more than inside.
Oh, that's awesome. Sweet.
See that?
I do see that. I see how it works. Anyway, he says, I could care less about truggy, but if I was new and going to do both classes, which almost everyone does now, I wouldn't buy a brand that only sold a buggy. And I had to get another different brand to get a truggy. Or, like most people do when they get frustrated with their results or friends, try the latest kit. Just switch brands completely. And he goes, and a question he'll actually answer, though. How long between diff oil and shock oil changes and the setup guide? Let's answer his first question. The second question first.
Okay, one at a time.
Let's do the diff oils and shock oil because I know that's easy.
How often? Well, I mean, diff oils, you don't need to change as often as shock oils, I think. I think actually what I wrote in the guidebook was to save time on wrenching. If you aren't trying to get the absolute maximum performance, if you change center diff every gallon, rear diff every 2 gallons, and front diff every 3 gallons. So every gallon you're changing the center diff, and then every second gallon your center and rear diff, and third gallon front and center diff. Now at some point they do overlap, but you get the point.
And shock oil changes, I mean, I guess it depends on your, like how dirty your oil is too. If it's all dirty and gunky.
Yeah, well, shock oil you tend to have to change because of the temperature anyway. Yes. And maybe you just want to adjust the feel of the car a bit depending on the track. So you tend to have to change those just because of the setup issue already. But if for some reason you're just running on the same track, same temperature, just testing, for example, or that's just you just run on your home track and that's it.
Yeah, I would agree.
I don't know. I mean, honestly, the shock oil is weird because sometimes you can have a situation where, let's say you're running emulsion and it's not perfect and there's maybe a bit too much air in there than you would like what the ideal situation would be. But that might be an awesome setting. Like your car might be just really good with that. And then when you rebuild, it's not quite as good. So that's something I think people miss a bit. They think somehow that, oh, magically it's gonna be better if they change the oil. And I don't know. I just don't really agree with that. I think that when you change your oil, especially when you run emulsion, it tends to change your ride height a bit, where you have to run the car, and then adjust your ride height right after you've run, and then it kind of settles. So it's sort of right after you change it, it needs a run to settle.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel. And once that's happened, it stays really consistent for a long time. So I don't really know. I don't have an answer for you. I wouldn't change shock oils for no reason in a race. Let's put it that way. I just don't believe in the fact that some people say, oh, you change the shock oil, you get more grip or this and that. No. If you get more grip, you're changing the setup. You aren't changing to the same feeling. Do you see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like you're changing something then, not just changing the same oil to the same feel. So I don't know. It's hard to say.
And what is the setup guide? When are we expecting the? Did we name it already? The
Invisible Speed.
Yeah.
So it's at the publishers now. I haven't got the ETA, but I would assume within this month.
Okay.
So maybe this week or next week, then it will be online and people can pre-order. And that's that.
Awesome. And as for your question about truggy and everybody else's question about truggy, all right, I thought it was just simple too. Longer chassis, longer arms, universals, all that type of stuff. It's not that simple, people. It's not that easy. How do I know? I've watched JQ guys. I've been in a WhatsApp group and I watched everything they've gone through to try and make. There are some JQ conversion truggies out there. Will Smith made a whole one. Scott and those guys have one. But people overlook a lot of things. You need shocks, shock bodies. Probably you could probably get away with using the same shock shafts. You need wider arms. That costs money. You need more molds. You need a mold for the arms and the front. You need a mold for rear arms and front arms. There's big money right there. You need universals, turnbuckles, not too hard. Chassis, not too hard. The gearing is what people had a big time with, the gearing for the truggy, because remember, truggers, you kind of want to get them close to, you don't want a big center. The early truggers used to just put like big 56-inch spur gears on there because we didn't change the gearing in the ring and pinions. Yeah, that was fun, but that creates a lot of rotating mass. Lifts, puts weight up high because you had to raise up the diffs, the center diffs. So that worked back in the day. But the gearing is what would have to do to use regular diffs and all that stuff. That's where guys came. And just making long, it's a lot of money. It's not just that easy. And you might have to make new gearboxes for the actual, for the new gearing. So, yeah, it's not that easy. No, I'm talking to Axel. Axel, like, he's a tinkerer. He showed me what he done to his JQ car to make his electric ESC and motor work. So he'll probably, if you want to build a truggy, go do it. But it's not that easy. And I think it, like you said, wait till a new car whenever that comes out and we do that. Are you working while I'm talking?
Yeah.
Jesus. Yeah, that's what it comes down to, Axel, man. Pretty much just it costs money. And to be honest, like, I love truggy. I actually think e-truggy's growing more now. But e-buggy's so big, man. It's actually probably bigger than or as big as nitro buggy now. I hate to even say that. But yeah. And you know what? The good thing about e-buggy is, and nitro buggy, you can use the same tires and stuff and use the same parts. Like people say, oh, well, my truggy, my parts switch over. Yeah, not really. You can't really use the same arms and stuff like that, same drive shafts and all that. Some parts you turn on. But it is a lot of money. And for a market that's only really strong in America, unfortunately. So we shall see. We shall see.
Yeah, it also needs packaging, manual. Everything needs to be added to the website, web shop. There's a lot of work that goes on also, apart from just designing the parts, paying and producing the molds and CNC parts. So there's a lot of that too. Like, it's just not worth it. Maybe after there's a new buggy version and the buggy version is new, then if you can really quickly after that release an e-buggy and after that a truggy, then maybe it's worth it because you have all the nitro cars. Maybe you can sell more buggies also because someone who runs truggy and wants the truggy to be the same car will then consider it as an option. So they'll think, okay, now JQ has a truggy, so I can get the JQ nitro buggy and e-buggy too. So if you take that into account, then it could be worth it. Just truggy sales, it's not even worth doing because the sales are so small. So
yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
Well, one day we'll have a truggy. Until then, run whatever you want. I'd run a Tekno truggy because I think it's great. I'd run e-truggy, to be honest.
Heck no.
Anyway,
I'd run Team Associated. That's the way.
Yeah, well, that too. I enjoyed driving your car.
Ruining it. I mean, you pretty much ruined it.
I did not ruin it.
You did it one race and it was done. The body was pretty new too. Ruined.
I didn't even touch. All I did from that car from Southern Nats to SCRC was change the diff oil. I did nothing else. I didn't even use the same.
I know you didn't do anything, but you drove it and smashed it around the track and ruined it. Pissed me off.
Well, maybe if you were to walk faster when my hub came off, I wouldn't have to do that type of stuff.
That too.
Always complaining. You complained when I raced in Argentina. It's like, you're gonna break your car. Stop being stupid. Did I break the car? No. I did lose it. I did lose third on the last lap though. Oh, that sucked so bad. All right, Joseph. I think that's it for the Beach RC Bench Racing Q&A. Thank you everybody for your questions. Keep them coming. We will post up send us on Instagram, Facebook, or send us via email at thenonamercpc@gmail.com, or shoot us a private message on the Facebook No Name RC No Name NNRC Facebook page. I couldn't get that out. Okay, you know what, Joseph? It's time to go on to the Sun City RC Raceway thought of the day, and this part of the podcast is brought to you by Sun City RC Raceway. They just recently held the U.S. Open, home of El Paso's world famous, true old school track. It's motocross inspired. It's motocross inspired 8-scale off-road track. It has great handicap accessibility for Corbin Showers races there, and he can beat Joseph any day with his Joseph racing his own control versus Joseph. It's actually quite a spectacle to see. We need to find that video. They have gate starts. They have covered pits. They have everything you need for the professional field with the amazing country views to match. SCRC is located on 4 acres of parking with plenty of room for RVs and trailers. The racing can carry on into the night with a well-lit track and pit area, and it's covered now too, a part of it. SCRC is privately owned and run by the Showers family, who have been in the RC scene for 20 plus years. Thank you, Joey. Thank you, Christian. Thank you, Corbin. They treated us really well when we went there, and all of the New Mexico guys, JQ New Mexico guys, what's up? They also own their all equipment so they can make frequent track changes to the layout, and they even hire professional track builders for big races and RDs as well. Please go to Facebook, look them up under Sun City RC Raceway, give them a like, and if you're ever in the El Paso area, go check out their track. So thank you to SCRC, and I look forward to getting back there one day. So the RC thought of the day actually goes back to my good buddy Mike Walker. He started racing again. He took a little hiatus during the summer, said it was too hot. He wants to know, how do we make club racing in America great again? He goes, why do organized clubs in Europe work in Europe? And an example, in Australia, for example, I think the track that Zach and all those guys go to, and Jack, and that's a club race track, and that runs really good. He wants to know why this doesn't happen in America. And I wanted to talk about this real quick, because this is something that we've talked about before, but it goes both ways. So Joseph, pay attention, stop working. I'm going to slap you, boy. Slap you.
Yeah. Club racing. Blah, blah, blah. Been over this a million times.
Anyway, well, I just wanted to touch on this. Yes, in Europe, a lot of the tracks are run by clubs because a lot of the land is not theirs. And that's how that's how they make money. You pay a club fee. I guess it's a yearly fee. You pay that. That money goes to upkeep of the track, as well as your race fees. So there you go. You pay for that. It has to be organized. The problem with clubs is that it isn't one person making the decision. There's a committee usually, and then there's people that, the issue with the club is when everybody's paying some money to be in it, they feel that everybody has a say. I get that. I mean, we went through the same thing in Bermuda with our track. And what it comes down to always with the clubs is it's just a handful of people that do the work. Yes, other people help, people around and all that stuff, but it always seems to be a handful of people because they have to do it to make it work, which is great, which is good. It has its pluses and negatives because you can share the load. Money is brought in through fees, and people can work on the track. Now, when you run a track for a business like OCRC, like a lot of the tracks in America as well, they're run as a business. Some people have them on their yards, which is great. So they have to pay rent. But some people rent out stuff. And when you're running a track as a business, I don't think it's good to do it as a club because it's a business. You're providing a product. And I think it comes down to, for me instantly, when I built my track, not my track, my buddy's track, but I built it. It was him and I made the decisions, and mostly me. It was so much easier. I didn't have to go through 5 people to find out what to do, and everybody wanted something on the track. He said, Keenan, all I want on the track is this. Everything else you can do on your own. That was so simple. But it comes down to you have to constantly provide a product for people. So I don't know, man. But club racing is definitely growing in America. That's good. People are doing it. I think they need to go to do like what Hot Rod does. You don't have to only club race on the weekend. Have a Tuesday night nationals, racing starts at 7, finishes at before 12, depending on entries. I mean, they do it at most club races I've been to are on Tuesday nights. I don't know why. And then OCRC has Wednesday night. So I don't know. What's your thoughts on this, Joseph? I know you're disengaged because this doesn't interest you.
Just make the race format more interesting, more fun. You know, less sitting around, less qualifying, more heads-up racing. That's pretty much it.
Yeah,
one qualifying round, 2 mains, or heads-up qualifying, or make it more fun for people, and make it so they don't have to spend so much time at the track.
And not only that,
that's really it.
Like, I know we're gonna say, well, in Europe they do this. Well, in Europe they don't people wasting time calling out turn marshals as well. I watched what race did I watch the other day, and they took forever to get marshals out there. I couldn't believe it. I was like, man, in England, if you weren't at your cone and with your high vis vest on, by the time that race started, you was docked a lap right away. That they have to do it to make the day go by.
In Europe, they don't club race that much though, compared to America. That's another benefit, sort of it being a business, because they have the incentive to do club races because they get money. So,
well, I used to go to Silverstone for Tuesday night races.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe UK they club race, but generally in Europe it seems to be less.
I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you think about that? What's your thoughts on that? Is it better to have a club? I mean, there's like Phil Hurd is a club, like with a committee and all that stuff. I was listening to Drew talk about it. They actually have to move, I believe, to a different part of and that's been around since the 80s. So there are great examples of club races, club organized tracks in America as well. But I get what it's saying. Great question, Mike. Good luck whatever race you go to this weekend. It's good to see you and Trent racing again, and get Jake Lasco out there. What's up, Jake Lasco? Box rule. And that is our RC thought of the day, Joseph. And now we're gonna go on to the main interview. Do you have anything to add before we do that?
Nope.
Nothing at all?
Nothing at all.
All right. Well, thank you everybody for the questions. Thank you everybody for this for just sending questions. I know we've been going on for an hour and 47 minutes, but here is the main interview brought to you by Tekno RC of Josh Wheeler.
Tekno RC. Tekno RC. Tekno RC is a premium manufacturer specializing in 8th and 10th scale high-performance off-road RC buggies and trucks. Visit www.teknorc.com for a complete catalog of their products. Tekno RC. Excellence in engineering. Hashtag Tekno Takeover.
So last year, you guys know I attended the Silver State for the first time. Well, not my first time attending Silver State, but my first time at the location that it is at now. And I saw this guy, this tall, skinny guy walking, and he had a little bit of a limp. And I'm saying, I recognize this guy, but I didn't. And it ended up being Josh Wheeler. I hadn't seen him in many, many years. So I stopped and I said, hey, man, I met you and your brother and your dad way back in 2005. We was at the Offner race with Paul Coleman in Charlotte, and I said, I know you go to Bermuda. I'm from Bermuda. I know you didn't know who I was, but I said, look, I got this podcast, and I really want to get you on there. And it's been a whole year and a bit, and I'm just happy that you did come on her. So thank you, Mr. Josh Wheeler, for coming on the podcast. How are you, man?
Doing good. Can't complain at all. So I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, thank you, man. You did pretty good at Silver State last year too. Did you? You almost made the main, I think.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. I mean, I probably could have used a little bit of practice, but and I showed up with brand new cars, so that didn't help me at all.
Your brother made the main though, right? He made the open main, I believe. Or
yeah, he raced even less than I did, so he decided to run open, and yeah, he did really good.
Sweet, awesome, man. You are known for that guy who does not practice and can still show up at any big race and still put on some of the fastest laps. So kudos to you.
Yeah.
Kudos to you. Like everybody, I told you before, everybody that I talk to puts Courts as one of the most naturally talented drivers. Well, I have to throw you in there as well because you've done some amazing things in your career. And yeah, we're going to talk about all of that today. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
Good stuff. All right. So in case you guys don't know, Josh Wheeler and his brother, Justin, they used to race a lot back in the 2000s in the heyday, or the attitude era, as I like to call it, of RC, and also into these later years. He's made multiple finals at IFMAR Worlds. He's been to all these big races. He's traveled all around the world racing, which is great. You know, we know a lot of people that do that, but his story, what led him to this, is even greater. So we're going to start over there. So let's just talk about, how did you get into RC? You started out, you come from a motocross background, correct?
Yeah. Yep. Started motocross when I was a little boy. And that's where I guess my passion for racing kind of came from. So yeah, that's definitely the start of it.
Was you good at motocross?
Yeah, I was. Yeah, anything around the Midwest. I mean, I pretty much won a lot of big races, and I quit when I was 12. So I was just getting on a 80, and I mean, there wasn't. My dad was out every weekend racing, and I like to say I won my fair share and was better than average for sure.
Oh yeah, why did you end up quitting at 12? What happened in your life that you made you stop riding motocross?
Yeah, it was kind of not an option. It was I had unfortunately was diagnosed with cancer. Mm-hmm. And they kind of found that I was going partially paralyzed on my left side, and I used to play a lot of sports and ride motocross, and I remember landing a couple jumps at the race, and my hand just fell off the handlebar, and at 12, you're kind of wondering, what's going on here. And so my mom kind of was thinking a pinched nerve, because I had been trying to do a backflip, believe it or not, on my bicycle the week prior. And I kind of landed on my head a little bit anyways. So my mom was pretty sure it was pinched nerve, and that just kind of was causing the issue. And I went in for a checkup, and literally after school one day, they picked me up and brought me to the doctor, thought it was a pinched nerve. They realized, nope, you have something far more severe going on. And basically that same night, I was diagnosed with a brain tumor wrapped around my spinal cord in C1, 2, and 3. And they basically told me I got 3 weeks to live if we do nothing. And so they gave me the option of obviously do nothing or go into surgery and try to buy you some time. And they gave me basically a 15% chance of living through the surgery. And they told me if I did make it, I'd never walk again, because kind of how the surgery would go, it was going to paralyze me the rest of the way. And so, yeah, I didn't really know at 12. They didn't tell me all of that right away. I mean, obviously they tell my parents and don't tell me every bit of that. But so I was rushed into surgery. So from one day after school going to get checked up to 6 a.m. the next morning, I was in surgery. And so that's kind of what ended my motocross career. And basically I made it through the surgery, and it took a couple years of rehab to try to get my left side back. And it wasn't coming back at all at the beginning, and then slowly started coming back. And RC car came. I messed with RC cars a little bit when I was younger. My dad there was a local track that we had kind of messed with just briefly. And so I was in a wheelchair and literally nothing to do. And this was before, iPads and all the stuff nowadays. So my dad went to the local hobby shop and got me a Grasshopper remote control car, and I kind of started messing with that, and he brought me to the local track, and I started in a wheelchair, and it just started there. So that was kind of what started it all.
Was you able to use your left arm? Because I'm actually, now look, my left arm's paralyzed, not through cancer, but through motorcycles and stuff. That's 75% paralyzed. So it's kind of difficult for me to drive. But how did you figure out how to use the control and all that stuff? Or did you have fully function in your fingers and stuff like that?
Yeah, by the time I started racing, I was getting to where I could move my finger a decent amount. It's really slow. But I think also that may have made me a smoother driver. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so it was more of, at the beginning, just a way to kind of race something and get that kind of bug, itch fixed or itch scratched. And, and so I could work my left hand a little bit. There's a lot of things my dad had to do, but I think that's what also helped me get better, was forcing me to use my left hand. And my dad, quickly being the race fanatic my dad is, he realized that the Grasshopper wasn't cutting it for racing. And he started upgrading me cars. And within a couple of years, about 2 years, maybe, I was racing A scale. So that was, it was pretty quick.
Yeah. But you, back to with your treatment, you started to come in, you started getting back. And then, as you was telling me before, you actually had a setback, and you did you went in for another test, and they found that the tumor was still there, correct?
Yes. So basically, about a year and a half, give or take a little bit, after my surgery, I was starting to get decently like my left side back where I could at least walk. I couldn't walk for a long period of time, but I could hobble around. And I went in for a checkup because they had checkups every few months, and they noticed my tumor started to grow again. And that was something that the doctors, I guess, kind of expected, but I'm never ready for it. But so I basically they want to. My dad took me down to Mexico because he started doing research on what different types of treatments are out there for cancer that may be an option, because they just basically told me to kind of wait it out at home and see what happens. And so we went down to Mexico, and just my dad viewed it as something like, hey, this isn't going to hurt. It's changing his diet. It's doing different therapies that build your immune system. And none of them were viewed as anything that would, cause me any harm. So my dad said, what the heck, might as well give it a try instead of just sitting here at home. So I went down there and changed my diet and did a bunch of holistic treatments like oxygen therapy and a few things that all just designed at building my immune system and getting my body like really in good shape to fight the cancer. And so that's kind of what we did there.
Yeah, like no sugar, you was telling me, lots of vitamin C, vegetables. How long was you in Mexico for, do you reckon?
Yeah, the first day I was there for 3 weeks, and that's kind of the initial kind of startup. They get you going, they change your diet, kind of try to change your habits of eating and stuff like that. And then I went home for about 6-8 months, and I think I went back for about 2 weeks, and I went there about 3 or 4 times total over the next couple years, just trying to, because they have a hyperbaric oxygen chamber there, and they have a few things there that I couldn't get here back at home. Nowadays, you can actually get access to those a lot easier.
You can have one in your house, actually, if you want. I think.
What's that?
You can have a hyperbaric if you have money. You can get a hyperbaric chamber in your house now, I believe.
Yeah, I actually, believe it or not, I have one now.
Oh, okay, there you go.
So, yeah, so we, my dad bought one because my dad had a little bout with cancer a couple years ago. He's good now.
All right.
But so they kind of finally bit the bullet and bought one, and they've come down in price over the years, so they're somewhat, somewhat affordable now.
So this is all in a stretch of from 12 years old to about 16, I want to say.
Yeah, 12 to 15, 16 was kind of the main deal where I was dealing with cancer a lot, going back and forth to Mexico, starting to race a little bit at a very local level.
Was you still in the wheelchair in this time, or was you walking?
I was in a wheelchair for the first couple years, on and off. It really depended on how far I had to walk. So if we had to go anywhere for a long distance, I'd get in a wheelchair. If it was anything short distance, I could kind of hobble around. And actually, I had one of those. I first started racing. It was kind of funny. I had one of those halos because I had to put steel plates in my neck.
Oh, wow.
Because my neck started to collapse about 2 years in because of just my muscles were so weak in my neck. My spinal cord started to collapse, or my neck did, and it was pinching my spinal cord. So actually, that was a crazy story. I almost paralyzed myself from the neck down riding a four-wheeler, and they didn't know my spinal cord was collapsing.
Wow.
So, so I kind of, that was another one, almost bad experience. And
we got to keep you off bikes, man. We got to keep you off.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. No more bikes for me anymore. So I stay off them now.
Yeah. But you're how old are you now? So everybody can know. Like, you are what, 35?
I'm 35 now.
Man,
yep, 35 now.
35, 3 beautiful children, and living life.
Yep.
Man, that's awesome. You are a walking miracle, man. Pretty much.
Oh, absolutely. That's even my doctor. He's like, I don't believe in miracles, but if there ever was one, you're it.
Wow, that's amazing. I remember hearing this story a lot. Paul told me, and just we always heard about it, and I really, I wanted you to hear it from your mouth as well, and that's so awesome. I remember myself, JQ, and David, who does the RCGP. We was out drinking one night, and we was telling him about this story, and he didn't believe it. And I was like, "We're telling you, it's true." And he just couldn't fathom it. And I remember, I think many, many years ago, I saw, what was that rally car driver that was diagnosed with a brain tumor? He's from Finland, and I just remember seeing your dad on Facebook. Like, somebody had posted it and said, "Hey, tell him to get in contact with me. I know how to fix it." I remember him saying that on Facebook, and I was like, "Yep, that's true." because he's been through it. So, man, awesome. It's awesome that happened, because we would have been deprived of one of the greatest 8-scale drivers of all time, I think. So, not just that, but a great person as well. So, congratulations. And I have to let a curse word go. Fuck cancer, because it's a bad bastard.
Exactly.
So,
absolutely. I hate it.
Yeah, but you're here now, and now we're going to talk about your RC story. So from grasshoppers to 8-scale cars, how did that happen?
Yeah, I started, there was a local, it was actually called the Horse Palace, and it was a horse arena that they raced in. And so I had a grasshopper at first, brought that out there, and my dad quickly realized that that's not going to, cut it for racing. So he got me a 10-scale gas truck. And that's where I first started racing 10-scale gas trucks. And there was only about 2 or 3 A-scale cars that raced there. A couple guys, one guy I remember being Redbeard was his name.
Redbeard, was he a Viking?
Yeah, it's some big old biker looking guy, but he was super nice. And I just always remembered A-scale was like, holy smokes, these things are another level. And so I watched A-scale, but 10-scale gas truck was the class to run at the time. And so I started with that, and that was really what got me going and in the racing. And once I started kind of showing some signs that I was doing better and better and winning some races, my dad, being the personality he is, he found out about some traveling races. And I remember we went up to Detroit and started racing there. There's an old track there that kind of as soon as we went to the first couple big races, we were hooked.
Yeah.
And then we saw A-scales, and my dad's like, oh, we got to get one of these. And so that was.
What was your first 8-scale?
A Mugen. I think it was a Super Athlete.
Okay.
Was the first. Yeah, it was the first. I remember them front arms would flex. You could bend those things all the way. That car wouldn't break because it just flexed so much.
And I believe the gas tank, the engine was on the other side, if I'm thinking of the right car, the Athlete.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly. My dad did most of the wrenching at that time, so I just did the driving. But
did you like automatically pick that up? It was obviously a lot easier to drive than gas trucks, so it should have been easier.
Yeah, I mean, right away that was I fell in love with the A-scale. That was really where it was, and still race gas truck. Obviously, back then it was no truggy. It was A-scale buggy and gas truck. I mean, those were the two classes to run.
Mm-hmm.
So that's each race, that's what we showed up with. An A-scale Super Athlete, and then after after Detroit, I think it was Detroit. I got is it Detroit or Hemet? One of those two races, I got kind of introduced to Kyosho, and then I got my first 50 off deal with Kyosho, thanks to I think Richard Saxton was the first one to kind of ever noticed me and kind of got me some help.
The King. I need to get him back on here. He's an awesome guest.
Absolutely.
Believe it or not, it's fun to see him and Dagani talk smack to each other. No, the old school guys talk smack to each other at these races like there was back in the day. So you
definitely a lot of smack back then.
Yeah. So I think you was a little older than Tebow and those guys. So you was kind of like in the middle between Greg and those guys. You're the same age.
Yes.
So Greg and then Tebow and those guys are a little younger than you. So it wasn't really too much. But I mean, like in your age group, if I'm trying to remember back that far, but you was like right in the fire, because that I call that the attitude era of RC. Like it was racing hard. It was like you had to show up and you had to be on your A game. I mean, you have to still be like that, but man, I heard the stories from back in the day what guys used to do at those tracks, and it's.
Oh yeah, I mean, Hemet used to be so competitive. I remember having. At 2 out of 3 qualifiers, I'd have like 8 points or 9 points and be last in the main.
Yeah.
So I'd have like, I had 2 top 4 finishes, 2 top 5 finishes. I'm last in the main.
Yeah.
It was not easy to make those mains. That's for sure.
For sure, man. So, and coming from the Midwest back then, it was difficult too. Like everything was in California. There wasn't a Facebook, all that stuff. So, I'm sure you had to make much pilgrimages out to the West Coast and race out there. That was the way to do it. And still kind of is, but, not as much as it was back then. So you're racing for Kyosho. You got a 50 off deal. I was researching, and you guys went to Uruguay in 2002, but like,
Yes.
as a family vacation.
Yeah, that was basically just a wild. My dad, I was doing okay at some local races at like a Hemet race, and yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, California was the only place to go race back then. I mean, you had some somewhat local races that were okay, but if you wanted to be competitive, you had to go out west. And so I remember, I got some stories from at Hemet sleeping in Greg's little trailer, me and him on a cot together, you know. That was no butts to nuts. I remember we just were on this little bitty cot. That was pretty funny. Yeah, so I mean, that was, my dad sent me out there and racing with them guys. And so yeah, my dad basically heard about the worlds, and in the 2000 worlds, I wasn't even really racing. So I went from, I didn't even go to the 2000 worlds, didn't even know it existed. And so those 2 years from like 2000, 2002 was when I kind of really started getting started. And my dad was just like, you know, when your son's getting done with cancer and just getting where he can actually do some stuff, you know, as a dad, my dad told me, he goes, I was ready to do anything you wanted to do. I was down. He goes, I'd mortgage the house. I'd do whatever I had to do. We're having fun because I don't know how long you're going to be here.
Wow.
And so he heard about that and he's like, let's go. And back then the exchange rate was so cheap. I mean, it was just dirt cheap to go. So, so we went kind of as a family vacation just to kind of see how the deal was and see what happened. And yeah, I had my Kyosho 50 off deal. And I think I raced, I forget what motors I was running, maybe Pico motors, if I remember right. But so I was there basically funding our own way, just there to have a good time. And the crazy story, I guess, that put me on the map pretty quickly was I somehow got fourth in the world, and through a couple mud races. It was mud, and it was some qualifiers in the mud. And I remember my dad telling me, don't go out there, because we didn't have very many parts, and he didn't want me to trash my car, and everybody was trashing their car, and, you know, all the sponsor guys were basically building all new cars, and we didn't have the parts or, you know, all the stuff to do that. So I was like, well, I'm here, so I'm going to run. And I remember him getting mad at me, and then somehow I pull like a top 5 qualifier in the mud. Mm-hmm. And basically that put me in the semis, and through just some good luck and a few people breaking down and me just staying consistent, I somehow at the end of the race, I'll never forget when they called me in 4th position. I had no clue. I was like, holy smokes. And somehow held it together to the end.
Sweet. And I guess that must have just propelled your career immensely after that too. So what happened after 2002? What direction did you guys go?
Yeah, I got back, and right when I got back home was when we kind of realized a lot of people were calling and saying, hey, we want to sponsor you. So we kind of had to decide what to do. And that's when OFNA was really trying to make a big push into the A-scale scene. And that was something that they were really trying to break into. And Paul was doing a lot with them. And and so that basically they kind of came back and said, hey, we'll give you a little bit of money, you know, so we'll pay you a little bit of a salary, and we'll pay your travel to go all over the world. So to me, I was like, home run.
How old were you when this happened? 2002?
I was 17.
Now, I'm going to ask, how much did they offer you as a salary back when you were 17?
I want to say it was like 800 or 1,000 a month.
And then contingency, obviously.
Yeah, and then contingency.
Yeah.
And basically I used that money to kind of pay all the incidentals, and you know, because they kind of pay your way, pay your big travel and stuff like that, but you obviously have a lot of little expenses. Mm-hmm. And so I kind of used that to kind of pay my way, and at that point I was racing for free, so I couldn't be happier.
Now, was you were still in school, 17, you're still in school, correct?
Yes. Yep.
What was you now like, all right, this is it, I'm going to be a pro racer forever, or was your mind clicking to other things as well? Like,
yeah, well, my dad kind of, and I thank him for it. You know, I sometimes think it may have not got me to the level of RC car racing I could have got to, but I do not regret it in the least. But my dad always made sure that he said, hey, this is not going to, you know, my dad's a business owner. My dad started from nothing and started as a janitor and built a business. So he was, able to help us. And so he basically said, you got to stay in school. So I had many of red-eye flights back from racing at Hemet Sunday night. We go to the airport at 11 o'clock at night, fly out. I would land at 7 in the morning, and my parents would drive me straight to school. And they said the only way I could keep doing it is if I didn't fall asleep in school, and if I kept good grades, they'd keep sending me. So it was, so I had many red-eye flights, and they kind of told me, you need to keep a backup plan. As much as it is, at that time, nobody's getting rich or nobody's, making a great income. You're making enough to kind of support it, but the habit, but, it's tough to make a living.
Mm-hmm.
If the top few guys, I think we're getting to a point where they could, but really it's just like it is now. You got to win races to really make any decent amount of money. You can make an okay salary, but in order to kind of put some money in the bank and actually make a decent living, you got to win races. Yep. And that was kind of so they kind of made me balance that, which I'm very, very thankful they did, because obviously now it served me well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thankful for that.
So did you go to like college or university after high school as well?
Yes, I went to university, got a business management and marketing degree, and same thing. My parents said, you're only racing to the extent you keep your grades up and stay in school. And they never forced me to go to college. That was some college in my family was optional. My brother didn't go. He was more of a hands-on kind of person. He college wasn't his thing. I kind of decided I did want to go and try my hand at marketing and some business stuff, and which I learned a lot. And I'm happy I went, and I didn't do. And that's a big reason why I didn't practice, I think, as much as a lot of guys. I didn't have the chance to live at the track. I tried to practice as much as I could, but it was always trying to find, keep it a hobby as well as kind of stay in school. And obviously it was a little more than just a, typical hobby, but so we kind of tried to balance that.
Yeah. Your time at you guys, I remember Offner had a really big team at once. They had Cavallari, they had you guys, you and your brother. They had Kinwald as well.
Yep. Yeah.
And they were like electric guys trying to break into 8 scale, but you guys were the main guys. And I just recall I remember seeing you guys because you was younger. You're about 7 years younger than me, so you guys were all a little bit younger than me. I just remember like the love that you guys had for Paul, and he's just like, your big brother to you guys, and I was just like, wow, this is so awesome. Like I liked being a part of that and seeing that happen. And he spoke really highly of you guys. Like I could hear it in his voice thinking about this when we was chatting. I could hear him reminiscing about those times with you guys and all that type of stuff. So that's really cool, man. Paul's awesome.
Yeah,
man.
Paul's awesome. Those are honestly, those are some of the best days of my life as far as racing with Paul. I remember going to I was young, and my parents, and even when my dad went to most all races, but he was the one that really, my parents trusted him. They would send me, anywhere around the world. I remember going to Sweden, just me and Paul. And Paul was, I can't speak highly enough of Paul. He was, and I'll tell you what, my brother told me to mention, that guy is the fastest wrencher on the face of the planet. Nobody can wrench as good and as fast as Paul can. And
this is before Makita days too. We didn't have cordless drills back then.
Nope, he was the cordless drill.
He had that little Offner kit. It was like a little. You put it in your palm and just he would go to work on that thing, man. And I'll be like, I'm getting sleep. See you later.
Yeah.
It's too late.
Oh yeah. No, he would be. We'd be want to change a chassis or something, and he'd be like, it'd be like in between qualifiers or something, or we'd be testing, and I'd just be like, we'll go home and change that. He'd be like, no, we're doing it right now, and he would literally just grab that car and by the time I go get a burger and come back, he'd be like, here's your car, and that guy, oh yeah, he was unbelievable. So I got some memories with Paul and just going to different places. I remember him and Steve Dunn getting in a little scuffle that was hilarious.
Oh yeah, maybe slam him on the ground or something.
Oh, there was some funny times.
Yeah, Paul's a big dude, man, strong man.
Oh, he's an athlete, man. I remember my brother was playing basketball in high school, and my brother could jump pretty good. You know, he could dunk, and he had some hops to him. And I remember Paul messing with him, and Paul just, I mean, he could leap out of the gym. I mean, Paul, you wouldn't think looking at him, and he could 2-hand dunk it standing underneath the basketball hoop, just straight up jump up and I mean, that guy was an athlete to another level I'd never seen before.
I know.
But and an overall good guy.
Oh,
Him
yeah.
and his wife and everybody. He's stand-up guy.
Yes, good guy. He's actually,
I miss him.
He's getting back in a bit. He's going to be helping out Chris Higa with fifth scale development. So I know he likes that, and I'm happy that he's going to be doing that. So that's good. That's great.
Very cool.
Yeah, but speaking of your brother, he wasn't no slouch either behind the control. He was quieter than you though. I think you got more of the attention, and it seemed like, and he was just real quiet. And I got to see him on 2 occasions. There was Silver State when I met with Paul. We was pitting with with Smoker and all those guys, like the jamming team in 2005. The first time at Boulder City, you was there. He was there. He was talented too, man. I just think I think you got more spotlight than him at some time. But I remember just the Wheeler brothers going, and he can wheel too. What was like? Who? All right, let's be realistic. Who was faster, you or him?
Well, I mean, I honestly think he had more raw talent sometimes. I think and he'll tell you this also, his emotions sometimes got the best of him. So even though he was quiet, he'd get frustrated sometimes. And we used to always joke, he'd crash one time, he'd crash 3 times because he'd just get frustrated and then just, he wadded it up in 3s.
Wow.
So that was, but I think raw talent wise, I'd say every bit as much. He never really, he didn't quite put the time into it. I think I did. And, but now, I mean, he races real drag cars now, and he's one of the top guys in the Midwest. I mean, he's a wrencher. My brother's an unbelievable wrencher. I mean, he can build motors from scratch and tune them. And he's as far as real race cars go. And, so he's kind of found his deal now, his niche now.
That's awesome.
And he's really excelling at that. But, yeah, I mean, he was awesome. He was fun to race with. My brother, you can't get a nicer guy. And, but yeah, he's definitely I think maybe I just talk so much, it maybe makes him seem quiet.
I remember he also got into MMA for a little bit too. Paul was telling me, so.
Yeah, he's done just about everything. So he's tried out a lot.
That's good, man. That's good. In case you guys know, that's Justin Wheeler, Josh's brother. He can wheel too. Don't get it twisted. So you're working for OFNA pretty much. You're traveling around the world. What happened? Was you finished school? I know was you ever actually a fully paid pro at some time? Like that's all you was doing? You wasn't in school? You wasn't doing anything else? Or did you always have like a job at the same time while you was traveling?
Yeah, I always had a job. I was fortunate. My dad owns an industrial flooring company. So I was never going to get out of the family business. Okay. So if I had a day, my dad leaves every morning at 5:30 in the morning. And if I didn't have somewhere to go, he would tell me, we're going working today. And then after work, we'll go to the track. Okay. So that was always important. That was always he taught me a very hard work ethic. And I'm thankful for that. Yes. And, so yeah, I always had a job. I mean, even in college, I was the one to go to school 5 days a week. And then Saturday, Sunday, he'd be like, if we're not racing, you're coming to work with me. Wow. You know, so I was very blessed, to have a dad who made good money, and he came from very poor and so he's always very appreciative and very, taught me the value of a dollar as far as, it's not hard. It's not easy to make. He goes, so you gotta, easy to spend. Yeah. Easy to spend. He goes, and he taught me basically, he would always show me, you see how much money this is costing me? And he goes, you got to work to pay for it. So I always had a job, and so working for him, and so that was always, I was fortunate to have that.
Okay. How long did you stay with OFNA? Did you stay until they pretty much, because Paul left in, I want to say, I think he left just before the 8.5 came out, I want to say. Or it came out, and he went to Axial Robotronics, When did you guys leave before that, or what happened there? I can't really remember.
I think I left maybe right about the same time.
Okay.
I think maybe a hair before. I think it was all kind of in the same, maybe 6 month year time frame. We all left, and then and that's when I kind of did the same thing at OFNA I did for X-Ray. I mean, at X-Ray, they were beginning to get their A scale program started. I knew their on-road stuff was super good quality. So I basically decided, let's jump on board there. And they were willing to, some of the big companies they kind of gear up and gear down for worlds. They kind of had some turnover. So I would always kind of stick with the team who I thought kind of really had my back as far as sticking with me, where if I had a bad year racing, I wasn't worried about me losing my sponsorship. So I kind of, and I needed a place also that was a little more relaxed as far as sending in so many race reports, sending in, how many hours a week I'm practicing or whatever. So X-Ray was really good to me. RC America, who basically I dealt with mostly. That was
RC America back in that day.
What's that?
Who was leading the charge for RC America?
That was Ralph Birch.
Right, that's who it was. Right.
Yep.
Right.
Ralph Birch was kind of the face behind them. He was a big on-road guy, and so he kind of really helped out. And he was the one I initially dealt with, and through most all the years except for the last few years, that's who I dealt with.
Yeah, you guys were at one point there weren't many X-ray. There were no other top X-ray drivers. It was just you and your brother, and you pretty much for the longest while. So, who was working with X-Ray? Who was some of the people that you got to who was somebody that you really looked up to in that association that helped you out a lot?
Yeah, I would say. I really enjoyed Uri Hootie. He's a guy that a lot of people, I think, just because of language barrier, don't get to know very well. But he's got a big heart, and he's man, talk about a guy who's passionate about racing. I'd say Uri is awesome. And then Martin Bayer is another guy that has raced for Hootie for many years. He actually lives in Slovakia. He was one that really I hit it off real well at the races and got along real well with. So those are the kind of guys I had the most fun with. And then later in the years, I think a lot of people know him. Kurt Kellum raced for X-Ray. Yeah, so me and him kind of hit it off. Yeah. So he's a good guy, and he kind of helped me finish out the last several years of my career, keep me really interested. He's a diehard racer, and he's like me. He'll be the last one there at the track wanting to wrench. He's not the guy that want to quit, and that's what you need. You need somebody who's really. I was into it. I wanted to be there, but when you have somebody like Paul Coleman was early in my career, for a long, long time, and then just different people you kind of gravitate to that kind of really help you when you're frustrated after a race. You need somebody there with you. Come on, let's keep wrenching on this thing. Let's get it right.
Sweet.
And that was Kurt was one that helped me out a lot.
He's still in it hard too, man. He did good at DNC this year. I think he won Nitro Buggy. Yeah, he did. He won Nitro 40 plus Nitro Buggy, I want to say.
Yep.
And
he does really well.
Yeah, and I got to meet him for the first time at RCGP. Good dude.
Absolutely.
Good dude. Race results. You've traveled to quite a few worlds. When was the last world you went to?
The last one was where was that at? In Italy.
Okay, 2014.
So that was one of the ones that I struggled there probably more than a lot of places. That was one I struggled with the hard surface. I didn't do as much testing. That was kind of at the end of my career where I was in it, but I was getting pulled a lot of different ways. And so I didn't quite do the testing and stuff that I needed to do and wasn't as ready as I should have been. And then that surface really, it was tough for me.
Yeah.
So that was, I've always, if there's one place I struggle, it's high bite. I'm better on a loose, blown out, old school style track. Give me the biggest ruts where you got to pick a line. That's why I think I did good at Silver State many times. So that was something that I struggled with was high bite, and that was definitely it.
What was your best finish at a Worlds?
believe it or not, it was the first one I ever went to, 4th.
Really? Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I had the one in Charlotte, I think in 08 was the most disappointing one. That was one that I was leading the semi, was just, I mean, in my opinion, that was one of the best races I had in my career as far as speed goes. My car was phenomenal. X-Ray had a really good car that year. And I my tires, I had bad glue. And I know a lot of people say bad glue, but I went and tested it. And yeah, the glue was just, it was bad. Somehow I must have got either older glue or and since then we've kind of learned to keep it refrigerated and some tricks to kind of keep glue from going bad. But yeah, I lost my tires and I changed out 3 out of the 4 tires before I dropped out of the bump up position or to the main. And that was one that really bummed me out because I think I had the speed to, I ran away in that semi before my tires came loose. I was just, on that one, I was on a different level. That was one of those few races that you come into where you just really feel like you got something special.
Yeah.
And so that was a bummer. That was one that one hurt.
Yeah. So I want to rank your world. So the Italy was probably your least favorite, I want to say, because of the actual surface. So which was your favorite? Was it Charlotte?
Charlotte was, just because I really was on pace and I didn't struggle there. A lot of worlds are getting used to the surface. I'd say the one in Bangkok was fun. That one was a lot of fun. I enjoyed that race more than a lot of them. So riding mopeds everywhere and stuff like that. That was a fun one. But yeah, I'd say, yeah, in Uruguay, obviously the first one was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, me and Tebow, we got the rental car stuck in the mud. Me, Tebow, my brother, like 2 miles from the track in the middle of the night. And
you got to hear great stories about stealing tires and all this type of stuff. Secret pre-line tires that he stole out of Pavitas' van, and oh my gosh.
Oh, Gray's got some stories.
Oh, I know. He doesn't forget anything.
No.
Yeah. So how about like in America, like other big races, like what was some of your more memorable finishes there, like at the Nationals or the Dirt or Silver State?
Yeah, I'd say Silver State was always fun. I liked that. I think mostly because it was blown out and loose, and that was kind of my style. So yeah, I won a big electric race there when I remember I beat Tebow and Tessman and won that, I think back in 2012 maybe. And that was a good race. That was fun. It was so blown out. I was out at Boulder City.
Oh, that track was
I like that track.
Remember that straightaway that had the fresh air? It was all sand?
Yeah.
It changed every lap you went on it.
Every lap.
That's
so
crazy.
that was fun. And someone told me a while back, and I'd have to check this out. And if it's not true, it's probably pretty close to true. I think I've finished every position. This is kind of sad, but kind of funny. Kind of cool too. I finished every position in a Nationals, in Aurora Nationals, 2nd through 12th. I finished every position except for 1st.
Wow.
What was the second place one? I've been winning a couple of them. The one I was winning at my home track at Dirt Burners, I was winning, probably 2/3. I worked my way all the way up to the lead, so I was fast. It wasn't like I, took it from the beginning, and I had to work my way up to it. And a corner marshal jumped out and stepped on the front of my car on the straightaway.
Oh no!
So yeah, so I've had some bad luck winning some big races, and yeah, so I'd say that's my Achilles heel. Is I've won a few races, but I've got a lot of 2nd and 3rds, especially at some Nationals, especially some Truggy Nationals. I've got a few 2nd and 3rds there, but yeah, someone told me I finished 2nd through 12th every position except for 1st.
That's crazy.
over the 17, 18 years I raced.
How was you able to be so competitive but not practice? Like, you didn't practice as much. How was you able to do that? What was your approach when you would go to a track? How was you able to adapt so fast?
Yeah, I think a couple things is not second guessing your setup too much. I did that a lot, but I really tried not to. I kind of I rode the horse that got me there a lot. so I didn't try to change. And the times I did change, I really kicked myself. Like the Sweden Worlds, me and Paul did a bunch of testing there. I had that car dialed. I was ready to go. And then they came out with a new car before the race, and I switched to a new car and never should have. So things like that really.
Was it the 8? No, it wasn't the 8, was it?
I think it was an 8 just came out. I
Okay.
think they want. Yeah, I think we switched to that, and then that was really the end of it. But that car just wasn't as good. So that one, a few mistakes like that in my career really taught me to kind of ride the horse that got you there. Another thing is I always tried to practice right before the race. So I didn't do a lot of practicing, for weeks on end and a lot of testing and things like that. But I always made sure, okay, I got a race coming up this weekend. I got to leave on Wednesday. I need to get to the track the weekend before and just put some laps in. So I tried to, and at certain times I didn't do that. I think, thank God I was a little bit just gifted at driving and not over driving. So that was something that trying not to crash, just trying to race the best I could race and not worry about what the other guys are doing.
Yeah. So Silver State was a vacation too, I take it. You just like, I'm going to go Silver State and race cars while I'm there.
Yeah. My dad loves going to Vegas, and he's not a gambler. Like, he doesn't gamble at all here at home or anything, but he just likes the craps table in Vegas.
Really?
So, and I mean, he's only going with a couple $100, and but yeah, he loves Vegas, and I mean, if Vegas would have been going this year, we would have been there. So yeah,
Awesome.
that's just, my dad loves it, and I can't say no to him.
No, you can't say no to Dad. It's time for him to enjoy life, It's like, I want to go to Vegas,
Absolutely.
and you're coming. Good stuff.
Yeah, yep.
Who was your biggest rival back then, man? Who did you, like, when you showed up to that track, who was that guy you knew who was going to you just had to really, it was going to be hard to beat him no matter what?
Yeah, that, I wouldn't say I had any guys that were rivals, and I was pretty friendly. But I did
rivals,
have guys.
Racing rivals, like on the track. That
Yeah,
one guy
racing-
you wanted to beat all the time.
Tebow was always, all growing up, was the guy to beat. So anytime I had the chance to kind of beat him or hang with him, or that was always, I'd consider it an honor. I'd be like, hey, you know what? I was hanging with Tebow. I was doing him. And I'll never forget one race out at Hillbilly's track in Kansas City. It's actually, there was a 10 scale gas race, and my last 10 scale gas race of all time. Me and Tebow battled it out for like 45 minutes, and that was gas truck 45 minutes. And we were, I forget exactly, but a few seconds apart the entire race. And it was just one of those battles where I was barely ahead of him, and I pulled it off and won. And that was one of my most proud moments, just because Tebow was such an icon in gas truck. And believe it or not, I literally took that truck home and said, because I was thinking about, it was the end of gas truck, kind of at the end of that time frame anyways, where Truggy was starting to come about. And I just hung it up after that race. I'm like, hey, I beat Tebow in gas truck, and probably the once and only time. So I'm done. Let's hang it up on a high note.
Yeah. What that's, yeah, because he was the guy, man. It was Saxton and him. And then
Absolutely.
obviously Drake. Yeah. So what did you think of Truggy when that came around? Did you like it?
I always did. I didn't mind it. I mean, at first you kind of always wonder, is it going to stick around? Is it going to be something that, sticks around? And I think Jay Smoker is the infamous claim to started Truggy. So I'd assume he's right. He's one of the first ones out there trying to make that happen. And
He let you know that every time every time you see him, I am at a Truggy.
Yep.
Ridiculous.
Exactly. So, I mean, I enjoyed Truggy. I was always, I think, pretty good at driving Truggy. It was something that, it was a class where when you have a little bit less amount of practice, it's actually good for you, because, the setup's
habits.
not quite as precise. It's a little more forgiving in some ways. So for me, it was good for me.
Mm-hmm. I always tell people, man, I have, when I see people come at me with, race results or looking for sponsorship, they're like, man, I was in the A-Man and Truggy. I said, well, where was your nitro buggy? Oh, I was in the C-Man. I said, well, you need to practice more of your buggy and less of your Truggy, because and I think E-buggy is there too. brings a lot of bad habits, man. Nitro buggy
It does.
If you can be fast with nitro buggy and two-wheel drive buggy, then you can be fast with anything, I think. So
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, good stuff. Truggy. All right, moving on a little bit further. When did you kind of decide, all right, it's time to not retire, but scale back, not hit as many races, and proceed with real life, like what you've been doing? Well, you was always doing it, but you know what I mean. Less focus on RC, more focus on real life.
Yeah, it's slow. I slowly just started getting pulled away, really, with just when I had kids. So when I had Jake, my oldest, he was first couple of years I was still racing pretty heavily, and but yeah, just as my interest kind of, when you do something, travel the world for 17, 18 years, and you put a lot into it, and it's every weekend is thinking about racing, going to the track. And my wife was totally cool with it. She met me racing, and when I was racing, and so she never put a stop to anything. But it was just more or less my priorities just got changed. I had business stuff going on. I had some opportunities that I kind of realized, okay, I'm not going to get rich racing RC cars, and not that I really cared to get rich, but wanted to be able to do a few more things with my kids and be able to afford to buy some, race with them and do some things. So, and with the family business, it's kind of like my dad's getting older, and I need to kind of step up and do more at the business to kind of carry the tradition on here. And so that was kind of slowly, it just was a slow transition. And then at the end, I just felt like, when you're getting paid to do something, I want to know that I'm giving them my all. Mm-hmm. So when it finally got to the point where my brain was, when you're kind of looking forward to coming home on Monday, it was kind of, my timing was like, you know what, time to take a break. When I was leaving for a race, I was like, man, I'd rather be at home doing something with my son this weekend, or maybe not necessarily not like racing, but just doing something with him. Mm-hmm. So that was kind of where things kind of changed a little bit. And I figured, you know what, let's take a break for a while and see what he wants to do, and maybe pick it up later on.
Is he racing now? I think you did mention that. Or is he ready to race?
Yeah, he's racing. We're actually getting ready to start up in about a few weeks here. We're doing here in Missouri. It's cold, gets cold in the winter, and you got nothing to do. So he's been racing motocross during the summer months, and getting better and better at that. And we race at a local indoor track. He's got a two-wheel drive buggy, and so we've been racing there, and he loves it. So he's just like me. He wants to race everything. So what
do you want him to race? Would you want your son to race RC cars for a living?
I mean, I'd say it's very difficult to race for a living. I mean, it's just like any form of racing. I mean, motocross is the same way, so it's not anything in particular. I mean, some sports have more guys getting paid big money, but until you really have the spectator viewership, I really think it's difficult to get that big money behind it that it takes. So for a few people, I think can make a good living, and there's some that have, but it is difficult. I mean, motocross is the same way. You get 95% of the pros making just enough to pay the bills to make it to the races, and you get a few guys, making some good money. Yeah. So, I mean, I would say he can do whatever he wants. I mean, if he wants to do motocross, we even did kart racing for a little bit. He likes motocross more than kart racing, so that's why we're racing motocross. But yeah, I mean, so I'll let him do whatever. I'm not going to push him one way. He can play a sport. He can race. Obviously, I like racing, but yeah, I try to let him do what he wants. But he gravitates towards racing, and we'll see. I mean, if he gets, well, I'll probably do the same as my dad. We'll go all in, but at the same time, keep your grades up as well. Got to have a backup plan.
For sure, man. I always ask racers who have raced professionally and have children, would they let their, I mean, if somebody asked me, I'm not a professional racer, but somebody asked me, would I let my son do it? I don't know. I would rather him play baseball or something like that,
Yeah.
or do what he wants. But at the end of the day, I will do what I will push my son or whatever he wants. He can be a professional PlayStation a gamer, I'm down for that. But it's interesting what we want for our children, and just from experiences, I guess. But you also want them to experience what you experience too. It's weird.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think anytime you're a pro in something or you do something, you see the negatives of it. But I think sometimes we lose track of how many positives we get out of it as well. I mean, I think my point of it is I just want my son, the same as I think my dad wanted me, is just to be passionate about anything that you do. And I think that's something that you got to learn to be passionate about something. And so as long as I know he's putting his all into something, he's willing to fight through the highs and the lows, and really willing to put the work in. As long as I see him doing that in some avenue, whether it be baseball, football, dirt bike racing or RC cars, I think that's the lesson I want him to learn is be passionate, give it your all, don't just settle. And if you're going to do something, do it to the best of your ability.
Yes.
So I think that's just something and so any area that he wants to do, as long as he does it, to the best he can, I'm good with that.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Well, Jake, I don't know, man. I think your dad wants you to run motocross, but that's
yeah, I enjoy it. It's fun. It's fun going to the track. It's a good family atmosphere.
Motocross is just dangerous, man. My wife's like, he can do anything he wants, but he won't be getting on a bike.
Yeah. Like, it is. I mean, he got a minor concussion the other week, so he went over to bars. So he's doing good now, though.
All right. Cool, man. Future of RC. Do you keep up with it at all? Do you follow it at all? Now that you're not kind of into it, not really into it as much, but you see what's going on in the industry or anything? I guess I kind of want to get your thoughts on what's going on in the RC racing scene at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, I think I follow it. I mean, I wouldn't say as close as in the last few years as I did in the past, obviously. Mm-hmm. But I mean, I get it. I'm still friends with everybody on Facebook. Obviously, you see everything on there. And I mean, so I'm getting an idea of what's going on. And I think there's different transitions to every sport. And there's kind of times they progress and then times they kind of go backwards maybe a little bit.
Do you think we're still in the same position that we were like you were when you was racing? Somewhat.
What's that? Say that
again? Do you think we're still kind of like treading water in the same spot?
Yeah, I think we're at a it's a tough sport in the fact that we don't quite have the spectators that other sports have. I mean, if you think about it, motocross, I mean, to me is treaded water in a lot of ways. I mean, it's like there's not anything major that's progressed in motocross as far as, being on TV. It's still on Sundays, you get the races. I mean, it's just so, I mean, I think it's something that as much as we want it to happen and we want it to progress to a mainstream sport, I think it's and things like the podcast and things like social media and all these things definitely, I think, help and to get people more interested in it. But I think it is still very difficult because, I mean, let's just be honest, it's very difficult for a spectator to follow what's going on. I think there is issues with how long the races are. So I think it's very difficult for someone to come to a race and, like, for example, I can't tell my wife, if you're racing a weekend, when's your main going to be on Sunday? You can't give her an answer to that. It's like, well, you show up sometime around noon and it may be sometime between noon and 8 o'clock tonight. So it's I think some things like that where it's difficult. But I mean, is there an answer to it? I don't know. I mean, everything's got its pros and cons where you try to, shorten a race, down to a few hour, like a motocross type deal is, where you qualify to get in and then that's got its drawbacks. So, I mean, it's tough. I mean, there's a lot of things have been tried. I think if there was an easy answer to it, I think you'd have definitely people have tried it by now, because you get a lot of people who have tried so many different race programs I remember the Manufacturers Cup years ago, where they gave away the four-wheeler and the dirt bike. And I think Mike Truey still got my dirt bike that he passed me on the last lap for.
That was a great race, though. Great race.
That was a fun race. I still got the front number plate from that. They gave second place a front number plate from that dirt bike Really? And so I got a number plate in my basement right now, front number plate of a Honda that just reminds me of Trury beat me on the last lap for that dirt bike.
Trury, man, another talented driver, man, super talented.
Yeah. Guy. Oh yeah, absolutely.
I had Rick McCrary.
Yep.
He was on the podcast last year, and we talked about that so fondly. I remember that race, man. So many spectators just watching it on live RC, and I was like, this is what we need to do. But it costs so much money to do that, and it's hard. People don't want to lose money. So
yeah, unfortunately, it is. It's very difficult.
You attended Silver State last year, as we said. Did you like it? Did you see anything different or anything that stood out to you there? Like you probably hadn't been to a big race in a while. Did you notice anything different? Like
no, I mean I think it was very. I mean it was pretty similar to what it's always been.
Right. I mean go ahead. Sorry.
No, I mean I did like the idea of a practice track for especially someone like me who, when I realized I showed up with I brought a Mugen car last year just because I felt like trying a Mugen car.
Right.
And and I brought a car that was almost new, and so I quickly realized, oh, this isn't like the X-Ray, that it needs some break-in time. And so I was over there putting as many laps as I could. So stuff like that, it's really been that was helpful.
Do you think if you put some time into it, you could get back up to pace and maybe you put it in one of these mains again?
I think so.
Yeah.
So I mean, I feel as good as I ever have.
Yeah.
I mean, I think nowadays there's so much testing that goes on into the car.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was back then too, but the more people you get trying, the more, time people are putting into it. Obviously, they figure little tricks, little things to make your car that much better. So I do feel like that's something that, I mean, I think
you could too, man.
I think I could.
I think you could too. I think if you just practice like for a month or so and took it a little bit serious, I think you would make one of these meetings, no problem. I think you would make top 5 one of these problems, man.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, I've actually contemplated, because my son's 8 now, and when they're 8, you have to tell them, Jake, I was fast, I promise you. Like this weekend on a dirt bike, I was teaching him. We had a little rut track in my backyard, and he was hitting these ruts, and he's like, "Oh, you can't go any faster." So I said, "Let me see that thing," and I got an electric mountain bike, kind of a Suron, it's called. It's like a dirt bike / it's like got pegs and stuff. And so I went and whipped that thing out and laid it in that corner and just ripped around it. And his eyes opened up. He's like, okay, you really do know what you're doing. And yeah. So I'm like, see, I'm
do you feel that motocross experience helped you out in your RC experience too?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Absolutely. So, and that's another reason why I want my kid racing, at least motocross for a little bit, is it taught me so much, even from driving a car to I did a little dirt oval racing in a car. I mean, tried that a couple of times. And I mean, it helps out.
You got it. Like, you know what I mean? I think if you know how to race and you could do it like motocross and stuff like that, then RC is just a really easy, not for everybody. I mean, but look at Joe Bornhorst. Tebow is another example. Just a natural transition. If you could bring one thing back from back in the day to RC, what would it be?
Man, I would say that's a tough one. One track I'd bring back is the old Hemet days.
Yeah, I was fortunate.
Those are some of the best. Hemet was awesome. That was a lot of fun. I'd say, I mean, I don't know. It's tough to say that there was a lot of it was kind of like trash talking and a lot of fun. A lot of the, crap people get, like you call it, the attitude era. I mean, it was, I don't know if we want to say less politically correct or whatever, but it was, I mean, it was fun.
I think everything's too PC and vanilla now. Like guys wanted to be, you had to win. Like you had to win, or might not be like, if you didn't make the main. I remember Greg saying this all the time. If you didn't make a main at a top race, you would get demoted to like the B team at Kyosho.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And
so that's definitely a big difference.
Yeah, and things like that. And we're too PC. I keep saying, I want this RC racer that's gonna come. He's gonna be talking smack, go up there, no matter he wins or loses, still gonna talk smack, and just bring some character to our industry. Just bring some, like somebody like that, like a Kyle Busch. Yes, people don't like him, but he's good and he's gonna say what he wants to say. Or 7 Deuce Deuce, who may not be the best racer, but he's a personality and people like him. So,
and the cool thing was back then, it was like you had a lot of these guys talk a lot of trash on the driver's stand, but I'll tell you what, when they got off the driver's stand, it was all like that night we were all going out having drinks together. They were all having fun. At the Worlds. It was a time where, and I still think the Worlds do bring a lot of people together. I mean, it was pretty cool that it was that really a lot of trash talking, but at the same time, you knew everybody was friends.
Right.
And so it was that you didn't get your feelings hurt. And there was a line. I mean, there was a lot of trash talk, but it wasn't attacking somebody's personal character. It wasn't trying to, it was trash talk, but never once did you still felt like, I mean, me and Courts, we've had so many altercations on the driver's stand, giving each other trash talk. Wheeler, you did this, or me and Degani and all of us. It's like, it's been, I mean, from Degani and Mayfield, they've had, there's so many different conflicts, but then they're still joking around, having a good time.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that the ability to have to be able to do that is crucial. But nobody ever crossed the line. It was, you knew you still had to be friends with them that night.
Yeah, it's different now, man. I think back in the day, it was a lot more fun, and people, like you said, they had a real job and they were doing it, and they probably didn't get into this thinking they were going to do this for a living as well. But it seems like to me, like nowadays, everybody, as soon as they pick up a control and have a good race or a couple of good races, they think like, yeah, I'm going to be the next big thing. And it's just not like that. Like, you know what I mean? It's a lot of work. It's a lot of hard work. And everybody's trying, like, just like, man, I just see it. Like, I'm sure they're having fun and stuff, but man, it ain't cutting up like it's like it was back in the day. I mean, even like with us and Paul, like we had the same thing. Like we would go out there, like we would just be at the practice track and be like me, Paul, Keeman, I'll never forget in Vegas. And we'd just be like, whoever flipped over first lost. And so we would just be like, Keeman and I'll be running, and then Paul will flip over, like, Bermuda 1, USA 0. And we just did that. And it was so funny. We was talking about that the other day, and he remembered it. And it was just lots of great memories, man. And I think we need to kind of get back to that. Like, everybody's so serious. Like, and this isn't your job, man. And a lot of people don't understand when it becomes your job, it's not all working in the candy shop either. So I don't know, man.
I'll probably catch a lot of flack for a lot of people, but I think, I'm with you there. A lot of people need to realize it is a hobby. It is something that you need to, for the vast majority of people, that's not going to be your living. And it is something where when these companies only have so much money. I mean, when they hire somebody, how many kits and how many parts, you're really only getting paid for the dollars you can bring into them.
Yep.
At the end of the day, it's not a charity. I mean, it's you have to make sense for a company to sponsor you, that you're going to actually bring in revenue. So, it's just like a lot of things. Look at UFC fighting. I mean, you get a lot of guys making the big money because they bring in the viewers.
Exactly.
The Conor McGregors of the world, they bring in the viewers. And so I think it's one of those things where, I mean, a lot of people need to realize, and that's every sport. I mean, it's just like, yes, give it your all, do what you can, but don't give up your backup plan. And that's just something that I think you need to, and I think I was willing to put in more work each and every day, like from going to school to then going to the race to, I mean, it's like I was willing to put in the time because I never wanted to give up my day job, knowing that, hey, if something happens, I got to have something to fall back on. And I think that would serve a lot of people really well.
Yeah, I think so. We have too many people thinking they're going to be pros and not doing it for the right reason. A lot too. So, and I get it. Like, I understand why they may feel that way, but fun first, man. People are we're fortunate to be able to race these RC cars. I mean, for me, I work in it. I might take it a little bit serious, but I like this is my passion, and I work in it. So it's a difference.
And certain people working. I mean, there's a lot of jobs out there that, you know, there's certain jobs for RC car racing, you know, the Brent Thelkes of the world and yourself and a lot of people that are in positions with companies. But just for the simply racer only, it is something that, you know, and you can still, and I think people are mistaken. It's like you can still give it your all, try to make it. It's just like these athletes that try to make it in school. It's like, you know, do what you can, try, give it your all, be at the gym, you know, be there every practice, give it your all, but don't skimp on your grades. You know, still have a backup plan, regardless.
I agree. You know what? I haven't done this for a while, but we have this segment on the podcast. It's called the 10 questions, 10 second segment. Oh, I'm look at me. Tongue-tied as can be. My Bermuda accent coming up. We're going to talk about Bermuda in this too, because I know you like Bermuda. And that's another connection that we kind of have, even though I never met you there. But you have to answer these questions like in a couple sentences or one couple of words as possible. It's meant to you know, to try and and they're not all RC questions. So are you ready for the 10 questions, 10 second segment?
Sure.
The 10 question, 10 second segment is brought to you by robsoil.com, your one-stop shop for all of your AMSOIL needs. Rob's Oil is usually a sponsor of the RC Gypsy Tales, but we don't have one this week, so we have the 10 question, 10 second segment. Thank you, Rob's Oil. Why should you choose Rob's Oil? Because you can get any of your AMSOIL lubricants, filters, or anything that you need from AMSOIL delivered anywhere in North America. So go to www.robsoil.com and place your order right there. Make an account, place your order, and get it sent. We need to do this for the janky JQ van before we get back to America. And why should you choose Rob's Oil and AMSOIL? Because AMSOIL makes top quality synthetic lubricants for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, four-wheeler, snowmobile, lawnmower, fifth scales, and they make some great grease for your cars too, or anything else with an engine. AMSOIL lubricants are designed to help your equipment run at peak efficiency and last longer. Join the millions of proud AMSOIL users to experience the difference. All AMSOIL products are formulated, blended, and packaged in the USA. Thank you, Rob's Oil, for all of your support, and go check them out, guys. Showing our sponsors some love shows the podcast some love. And now on to the 10 question, 10 second segment. All right. So my first one for you is, you kind of answered this, but I'm going to say, what in your opinion is the best track you've ever driven on?
I'd say Hemet or Vegas.
Okay.
Boulder.
All right. I want you to give me one word to describe Paul Coleman.
Awesome. Hard worker.
Yes. Number 3, craziest thing you have ever seen at a race.
Oh, me and Greg Degani sleeping on a futon in his little bitty trailer.
You know what? I watched Greg and Joseph sleep in a queen size bed in Atholboro 2 years ago.
Oh man, that might be a little crazier.
Yeah, Greg took up most of the space, and JQ was just on the edge. It was cute too. They were like head.
Yep, that sounds just like me and Greg. I was on the edge. He took 2/3. I had a third.
Oh my gosh, Greg is a lot of fun, man.
Oh yeah.
All right, number 4. If you could race anything full scale, what would it be?
Oh, trophy trucks.
Trophy trucks. That's just for me, for my clarification, that's like short course trucks, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Right. Short course. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's pretty cool too.
Oh,
Number 5. Did you have any pre-race rituals?
I always said a prayer before my race.
Okay, that's good. Name one item you always took when you went traveling or racing.
I just say my dad.
Okay, he's an item. Favorite sport outside of racing?
Motocross.
Okay. Who's your favorite number 8? Who's your favorite MX rider of all time?
I'd say Dungey.
Yep. Okay. Number 9. We talked about your diet, but if you could eat anything, What is your favorite food to eat?
Burgers.
Burgers? Any particular?
Yep.
Any particular burger that you like?
In-N-Out burger.
You know what, man? I don't care what anybody says. In-N-Out is the I love it. First thing I have to do when I don't like the fries too much.
Yep.
But I like their cheeseburgers and a milkshake.
I'm a Missouri boy. We don't get those.
Yeah, we don't. Yeah, I love it. You guys lived on. Yeah, I'm a big boy, so I gotta have them.
Gotta have them.
All right, number 10. Your favorite song at the moment?
Oh man, I'm not a big music guy. That's the toughest question here. I don't even know.
Okay, well, we'll put an asterisk next to that one.
Yeah, I don't even know.
We'll figure that. You know what?
I rarely listen to anything.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna.
Yeah, I'm not a huge music.
Okay. Well, here's the bonus question. We have ties with Bermuda. You've been there twice. You went there for a race once, but I was living here, I believe, when you went, and you recently just went to Bermuda.
Yep.
Tell me why do you like Bermuda and the Bermudian people that you've met and raced with?
Well, I love the people. I mean, that is like one of the coolest things. I mean, Bermudians, I think, are some of the nicest people I've ever met. Most helpful. I remember when at the track, Roach's wife, man, she took care of me.
Selena.
Unbelievably.
Yes.
So, and I mean, still to this day, they check on me on birthdays and stuff like that. It's just, I mean, the love those people have for other people is awesome.
Mr. Roach and his wife are really nice people too. I was talking to her the other day. I gotta message him. Mr. Roach is a nice man, man. Done a lot of things for me too in life. Gave me a whole car once. Whole complete car. So I take it to Dominican Republic to race it.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, and then Miko, I've known him for many years. He comes and stays at my house.
Funny story about Miko. I'm walking down the road here in Sasua, a town next door here. I'm walking down. I went there to pay some bills. And I see somebody sticking their head out of a Jeep, like a Jeep driving on the road. And I'm like, that looks like Miko. Lo and behold, I roll up and I say, hey, what are you doing? Like just crazy that I see this guy in the middle of somewhere, like middle of nowhere here in the Dominican Republic. Miko was going everywhere. I think he's back home now in Bermuda, doing Brazilian
Jiu-Jitsu.
He
is. Yep. Yeah, he's back home now. So, Miko's been one of my good buddies. Man, he's been one of my best friends for years.
Yeah.
So he comes and stays here and at my house, and he's practically family back here in Missouri.
I think DeJean used to come up and race with you guys too a lot.
He did.
Yeah.
He did. I'll never forget. DeJean was here, and we're sitting there in a Burger King drive-through, and all of a sudden, down the highway rolls an 18-wheeler with a fighter jet on it, because we have Boeing around here, makes a bunch of fighter jets. And he looks over with just the most calm look. He goes, you don't see that shit every day. I'll never forget that. I laughed. So the whole rest of the week, everything come by, we were just basically saying, we don't see that stuff every day.
Oh, man.
Like every time, because he just, from Bermuda, you never see any, much less an 18-wheeler, you never see anything like that.
It's great.
Oh, I laughed so hard.
It's great. We got to reconnect at DNC back in 2018. I hadn't seen him for a long time. And he came out there, and we had a blast. And we went to DNC last year and PNB. And him and I went to a race, AMS once. It was good.
Yeah, that's a good race.
Yeah, man. Bermuda's a beautiful. I haven't been for a long time. Bermuda's beautiful. It's expensive. But,
yes. You go broke.
Oh, I know. It's expensive. People like California's expensive. Like, yeah, but not as expensive as Bermuda.
Oh, yeah.
Good stuff, man. I'm glad you enjoy my hometown. I gotta ask you, what's your favorite parish in Bermuda?
Man, it's what's it called? Harborfront? Is that down by the?
Like in the city?
Yeah, that was fun. All along where the ships come in, and Hamilton's really nice. And I mean, there's that beach. What's that famous beach called? I'm drawing blank right now.
Horseshoe Bay.
Horseshoe Bay.
Yeah.
Walking down from Horseshoe Bay and all along the beach there is probably one of the prettiest places I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, some beautiful beaches.
That's a postcard on every picture.
Yeah. It's good stuff, man. It's a beautiful 20 miles of country in the middle of the Atlantic. So
Thank you. For a Missouri boy who doesn't see an ocean, we just got lakes. That's pretty amazing.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm glad you enjoy Michael. You got to come down here to the DR too and hang out for a little bit. And see, it's different down here. I love it here. But
yeah, heard a lot of good things.
I know you're a busy man. I want to thank you for your time. I hope to see you at one of these races again. Excuse me.
Absolutely.
Would you like to say thank you and shout out to anybody before we sign off here?
Yeah, I want to just say thanks to Paul Coleman. That's one guy I just miss over the years. So I'm going to give him a call and see how he's doing. And my only current sponsor would be A-Main, so got to say thanks to them. And I just kind of doing my own thing now, so they kind of let me get whatever I want. And so when I occasionally do some racing, at least I got somebody to help out. But and then thanks to my dad for, man, he's been the driver behind this. So it's couldn't have done it without him, that's for sure.
Yeah, man. Well, I'm going to tell you, you and your story are truly inspirational, man. And like for me, it's definitely inspirational. And for anybody out there that's probably been through something like this, I think they should listen to this and hear your story, because you're a miracle, man. In my opinion, you are a miracle. And
definitely, I give God the glory, man. I can't complain. It's been life sometimes deals you a tough card, and we just all play the hand we're dealt. And that's just something that, my dad's taught me my whole life, is to really just be a fighter. And you know what, whatever time, sometimes a door seems to close. Like I thought professional motocross was my avenue. And, I remember having a lot of down moments, but then, you got to find your new normal and kind of try to figure out what are you going to do in life. And I think most importantly is just the impact you make to other people. I hope if anybody remember me as a nice guy at the track, somebody who was just there for people and had a good time. And it's not always about, I don't have the most wins, but dude, I had a good time and I got a lot of friends.
Yep. And you look good, man. You look 20 something, 35 years old. You look 20 something.
Yeah. Well, thank you. I try to stay in decent shape.
Yeah, there you go, man. It was a pleasure having you on. When I get this done, I'm gonna send it to Paul too, so he can listen to it. And I hope you, give him a call, man.
I will.
It was great chatting with him, man. I'm here anytime, man. I want to see you race again. I want to see you go out there and do it one more time. I hope you can do it.
Yeah, I may have to, just for the sake of showing my 8-year-old.
Yeah.
Maybe have to, before the next Silver State, go out for a month beforehand and do a bunch of practicing at the track.
There you go.
And just go see what happens.
All right. Well, thank you for your time, dude. You enjoy the rest of your day, and
you too.
Yeah, thank you for your contribution to RC.
Awesome. Thank you, Keenan. Appreciate it.
We are now at that point of the show where you should fasten those seatbelts and put your big boy pants on. Whoa. Things are about to get serious. It's time for the JQ Racing Rant.
Oh, sorry. I was dancing somewhat, if you can consider what I do, dancing. Quite embarrassing this week because my daughter had a birthday party this Saturday and she wanted to dance with me and I couldn't dance. So that sucked. Happy birthday to my beautiful daughter, Lucifina. Welcome to the JQ Racing Rant, everybody. This is the part of the podcast where we find something that we don't like or we think needs changing and we just rant about it. Now, last week we had last episode we had the never-ending argument between Jeff and JQ about, RCGP. That argument will never be settled. So let's put that behind us. We do have a rant this week. It actually comes from a viewer of the podcast, and he kind of brought this to my attention the other day. Yesterday, actually, because, do you have something to say, Joseph?
No.
Oh, okay. So, I'm a big fan of the no prep RC drag racing scene, and it's blowing up right now. So Tim Smith, who is a big personality, if you don't know Tim Smith, check out the TSR Speed Shop podcast. I've been listening to that for years. I love Tim. Met him at DNC. So they've made this 13.5 class, which is the stock class of no prep. I knew this was coming. Because anything that does stock in America, in American racing, because it's the only place I know that has stock racing. No offense to my Americans. I knew there was going to be problems. So anyway, the cheater motors have made their way to the 13.5 class. And the 13.5 class was designed for beginners, or just to keep it stock, make the cars look more realistic, and just keep it that way. I get that. But, we're racers and we fuck up everything. So the cheater motors I guess there's cheater motors in stock racing. You would know more about this than me, Joseph, because I don't really know nothing about stock racing. So I know that manufacturers have cheater motors and stuff like that. And motors have to get teched and all this stuff. But anyway, they made their way to the no prep situation. The thing about no prep is it's supposed to be no rules, but there are some rules, obviously. So there was a big thread on that, and I started reading through it. And the person that brought this to my attention said, you know what? This is exactly what he said to me. He says, it would be nice if JQ would accept that not everyone can run nitro and offer real insight on Euro versus US racing intent scale. And I thought this be a good rant, because you've ranted about, we help the old infamous hair dryers. I wish you could do that noise again. I should have that on voice note in it. And you and Max got into the Euros last year and how boring it was, because it wasn't no real hype to it. But man, you know what I think? I don't know. I'm gonna have to do some research, and maybe somebody who's more well versed in this can let me know. I think if the people that came up with the stock class back in the day, if they saw what it was today, it would probably not be what they envisioned. Don't you think, Joseph?
Yeah, I think stock needs to be so slow that no one in their right mind wants to run it unless they are a beginner. Mm-hmm. That's how it should be. And then if you want another class than that, then just make it open, because then there's no worry about cheating. Smart guys who are just running this as a hobby aren't very good yet in off-road. They wouldn't run, fast modified motors. They would run a 17.5 or something like that, because they will be faster with it than with a modified. Or is it 13.5? I can't remember now.
It's 17.5 two-wheel drive, 13.5 four-wheel drive.
Yeah, but my point being that the current stock class is too fast for beginners, and it's too competitive. Too
expensive?
It gets expensive and competitive, and cheating is an issue because you want more power. So that's an issue. Why not just make it so stock is so slow that no one except true beginners will enjoy it or want to run it, and then the sort of non-pro class, the open class, would be open. You can run whatever motor you want, but you can run a modified motor, but probably the best result for most people in that class will be when they limit their power a bit. Mm. So then there's no problem with cheating.
It's just so many. Now, I'm naive. I don't know what are these cheater motors and how do they make them faster? Like, what do they do to them?
I think the wires. There's some rules to how thick the wires can be in the motor and stuff. So, yeah, just so it limits how much power you can get out of a motor of a certain wind. So
why even make these motors if you know they're illegal? I don't get it.
Because you want to have the fastest stock motor, so you can be like, this is the best motor for stock.
Now, I talk to Mike Hill a lot, and he tells me about stock racing back in the day when you used to buy closed end motors and all that type of stuff, and and even then you could pull them apart some way and do some tricks to them. And he says, it wasn't cheating; it was just in the gray area,
Yeah.
But I think it's ridiculous, man. And I'm not bashing stock. I get it. Look, I was listening to my buddy Joey Fisher. He was on the Extra Lap podcast last week, and he went to Mod Masters Dirt, and it was true what he said. At that race, the biggest class was stock, compared to the two-wheel drive mod, which had 28 entries, and And the 17.5 two-wheel drive class had 69. So way bigger. Congratulations to AJ Marasco. He won that. But what I see is people just staying in stock constantly and not leaving. And that's cool. But I thought stock would be some sort of step to go in mod, and they don't. It doesn't seem like that. Well, I know you can make money in stock too from the motor manufacturers, like if you win and all that stuff. But I just think it's kind of very counterproductive. I always say this: stock isn't stock; it's modified and modified stock. That's kind of what it sounds like to me. And then you throw in the tire issue where you have to sand tires down and all that type of stuff. I think that's just I would never run two-wheel drive, but I would only run carpet. You know what I mean? Just set it. I know it's not set and forget it, but for me it is. But how does that compare to, like, in Europe? They don't have stock racing at all, and they've been racing 10 scale as long as America, and they seem to do just fine over there. Is it because
I think maybe in UK they don't have? I mean, they have stock racing in Finland, for example.
They do?
Yeah, but it's never really been a class that other people other than sort of beginners run.
That's how I think it should be.
So.
I get it. It's a tinkering class, and maybe that should be the tinkering class. I don't know. But I just don't think, I think 10 scale is a great way for people to get into RC. But not two-wheel drive buggy, not the way it is now.
I think like I said, I think it should be pros run modified, or I mean, pro is open basically. You can run whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That's pro. And then there's open, which is not pro, but same. You can run whatever. And then you have stock, which is for, beginners, basically. That's how it should be. That's it.
I agree. And then stock should be like, if you're constantly winning stock races, I think you should go up to mod. Like, you should be forced to go up to mod.
Well, open in that case, I think.
Open. Sorry.
And and the current stock class needs to be a lot slower than what it is now. The cars need to be slower.
Yeah, they need to. How can we slow them down?
Limit the motors even more.
But then they'll just cheat even more.
Well, no, because it's so slow that the people who would want to cheat and stuff, like, they don't even want to race that class.
Got you. I don't think that's ever going to happen because stock is here to stay, because there's too much money in stock. There's too much damn money. I think it's probably more money in stock than there is in modified, in America anyway. Because I've heard rumors like, for instance, whatever motor company this guy works, like say AJ, I don't know if it happens to him. I'm just saying. He won mod. He gets like a percentage of the sales for the next couple of months or something from motor. That's how I was told how it works. Remember when Drayton, he was like Drayton Staub, Dragon, he was really good in stock. Then he went up to mod and he struggled for that year, and then he went back to stock the following year. Now he's not even racing RC, unfortunately. I just don't get it. Like, I think it should be the step. I don't get it. Like, has there ever, like, stocks never really took off in Europe at all, right? Do you know any other countries that run stock at all? And also,
I don't know. I don't follow it.
What about the regulations in Finland? Is it the same as America, like 17.5 and 13.5 and all that stuff?
I don't know. I haven't followed.
I don't know, man. It's definitely confusing. It's definitely, I think it should be made a lot simpler, or just make, I hate to say this, make a class that is simple for people. Yeah, make it slower. I don't know, man. I know I won't be racing stock. I'll be racing, even if I do, I'll race mod with a stock motor. How'd that sound? Why not? I bet
that's kind of what I mean.
I bet you these guys could take their stock cars and beat a lot of these guys in mod. That shouldn't be.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that shouldn't be a thing.
Why do you think the Europeans never went that way?
I don't know. There's stock racing in Europe, I think.
Not to this level. Like I don't.
No one takes it seriously because it's a stepping stone. It's for beginners.
Like,
but in America, everyone has to fucking have a class that they can win in. So there's millions of classes and everyone can win. Everyone gets a trophy and it means nothing. I don't know. Like, I don't know what it takes to be that kind of person that you trick yourself into thinking that you achieved something. There's 100 people at a race and you were 1 out of 5 racing your class and you won. against those other 4 people, and there could be 96 people that were faster than you. But you are actually legitimately happy inside because you beat those other 4 people in your class. It makes no sense to me. I wouldn't be happy. I'd be like, well, I wasn't the fastest guy there, so what's the point?
Yeah, but
it dilutes that. It dilutes that.
Yes,
the sort of feeling of achievement. I don't understand. Some people, and this is, yes, true, more common in America, it's irrelevant what the achievement is. Like, they disregard that. As long as they win, as long as they get something for it, like, I won, I'm the best. It doesn't mean if it's a class and only they fucking race in the class and they get a first place trophy and they were racing alone, they somehow project on the rest of the world like they won. Like, it's a thing. Like, I achieved this, I won. And even though they were racing alone, like, that's a thing in America somehow.
Well,
if there was a class and there was only one guy racing in it and he won because he was the only guy racing in it, he would still act like he achieved something. Like, I won this race, look at my trophy. And like, this has happened so much, during my times there, like trophy giving ceremonies, all this. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, I'd be embarrassed, not proud. I don't get it. I just do not understand.
If you're the only person on the podium, you'd be embarrassed.
Well, yeah, but I don't understand the mindset. It's like, whatever the best class is, where are the best drivers? Okay, that's where I want to race. I've always been that way.
Yeah, I get that. Look, classes aren't going anywhere. Look, open class is highly competitive. Sportsman, I'm talking about in nitro. No, stock isn't about skill though. Like, yes. Sorry, let me rephrase that. Obviously, it's about skill. You gotta be fast to drive. You gotta be able to drive. But somebody can have a faster motor than you. And that's always the RC thing or racing. Oh, that guy has better equipment than me and stuff like that. Just seems like I don't know, man. I kind of agree with you. I mean, I don't mind classes, but I just don't get the stock thing. Like, I just don't get it. I don't understand how this can be so more expensive, like so much more than modified. Like, I just don't get it. And then on top of that, burning your tires in and all that stuff. I just think I just don't understand it. Maybe I need to do it to understand it. I get it. It's tinkering and all that type of stuff. I don't want to tinker. I just want to, okay, this is what I got to do. I mean, I don't mind tinkering, but when it comes to electric racing, I don't want to tinker. I want to put it on and go. Yes, I have to do setup changes and stuff like that. I just don't like it. I get it, but it's something's wrong if stock is bigger than mod, in my opinion. If guys are making money off stock class, then what is the incentive for people to go to mod? Where the professionals go? Is this all a part of the RC illusion?
Like I said already, pro open stock and make stock slow for beginners. There you have it. There you have 3 classes.
We're probably going to piss off a lot of the stock 10 scale racers out there, and we're not meant to do that. I just want to know, like, what the hell, like, what it is. Like, in Europe, they don't do it, and they, like it amazes me that Ongaro and Ronafalk and these guys can, they barely race 10 scale, but they can still be kind of in the run-ins at these worlds against 10 scale guys that race 10 scale religiously. I just don't get it. Like, I don't understand it. Just, talent, obviously. I don't know, man. I know who ain't running stock. I would be, now, can we have a spec class, though? How do we stop people from cheating in spec? Or what would you want stock to be like spec class?
Stock for beginners?
Not stock, but a spec class for beginners.
Yeah, I think that could work too.
Yeah, like I always say this. I know, I've said it a few times. When AE came up with this club racing, 4-wheel drive and 2-wheel drive cars, I think they're just ready to race. You just had to add your radio. I think that was like one of the best things that could happen. Interesting. I don't know. What do you guys think? What do you guys think about it? Why are the Europeans over there? They're racing, don't really do stock. You go to EOS. Do they have stock at EOS races at all?
I don't know what they have.
I think they might have a class coming up. I have to, you know what? I'm going to have to talk to my 10 scale European experts. That's Aiden and those guys at Extra Lap. Find out what's going on. But anyway, what do you guys think? is stock too ridiculous now? Ridiculous expensive. Cheetah Motors getting into no prep, all this type of stuff. Is that going to ruin no prep? Let us know what you think. This draws the end to our podcast for this week, episode 101. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. It's a little bit different. We're getting used to this as well. Joseph also, I can see when it's not engaged with me. Like right now, it's not engaged with me. So I just want to say, yeah, that's it for today. And if you guys have anything you want to say, let me know. I will have the guy, Chad Parks on next week from Ignite Gas Truck. Is Gas Truck just a blip? Not a blip. We'll see, because he says he's got quite a few pre-orders. I need to get my hands on that. So he'll be our guest next week. If you have any questions for him, send me a DM. Joseph, anything to add before I go into my outro spiel?
EOS has modified and stock classes.
Okay, so they do have stock classes. All right. So it's invading America. It's invading Europe now.
13.5 motors. And they are handed out at the event.
Perfect. That's how it should be, I think. I don't have no issue with that.
Non-boost mode on speedos. So there you go.
They should make ESCs without boosting them. Or do they? See, I don't know anything about this stuff. Anyway, that wraps it up, guys, for this week. Thank you for all 100 episodes that you've been here. Thank you for everything. Thank you to all the NNRC squad around the world. I appreciate you guys' support. Thank you to all our patrons on Patreon. We can't do it without you guys. Greatly appreciate it, man. Thank you for understanding. Please, if you guys want to be a patron, go check it out. There is a link in the written description. Check out our YouTube channel. We want to get that up to 1,000 subscribers, so please go, click the links. We will throw up some videos, some short videos from this podcast up there, and eventually more. Follow us on Instagram. We're trying to boost that as well. We're trying to hit it from all social media aspects. Check out JQ Racing. What's the YouTube channel, Joseph?
JQ Racing TV.
JQ Racing TV. Go check out JQ, the new YouTube superstar. He's planning on being a millionaire, which then I might get a raise, which would be great.
Yep. Multimillionaire.
Multi-millionaire. That's what I like to hear. No, it's not from, I want to be a multi-millionaire. There we go. Thinking big. Thinking big.
Yep.
Go check that out. Follow Joseph on IG. I don't know if I want people to follow you on IG, because then you're going to start arguing and it's going to be like Facebook all over again. But check him out.
I don't have time for that.
Thank God for that. Follow the No Name RC podcast on Instagram as well, and our Facebook. We're almost at 3,000 likes on our Facebook page. Shout out to all the awesome companies that support us. This new mystery company, Mayako. Remember, go follow them on Instagram. It's mayako.official. On Instagram and on Facebook, it is Mayako, Mayako. Reason, I wonder if that name means anything. I have to. Whenever these people contact me again, I'll know. I guess I'll know more. But shout out to Mayako, RCMX Online, Tekno RC, Beach RC, JQ Racing, Papa Willie's Traction Tonic, Sun City RC Raceway, Manscaped.com, JQ Threads, Wally Builds, and of course, big shout out to my friend Connor Ehlers of Duluth Cranes for his support. I greatly appreciate it. Remember, guys, sharing the podcast, sharing the sponsor some love, shares the podcast some love. Greatly appreciate it. It helps us out a lot. Share this podcast. Let's let this go viral as well. We need you guys to share this. I greatly appreciate that. Remember, Nitro is the glory, but E-Buggy pays the bills. If you ain't grinding, you're sliding, and hard work beats talent. When talent doesn't work hard, I'm waiting for you to say something smart. And
I can't think of anything.
And Lefty is out, and I have the right outro this week, I hope.
Let's see.
Thank you for listening to the No Name RC podcast. We greatly appreciate all the support and love from you, the listeners. Without all of you, none of this is possible. Special thanks to our patrons on Patreon. If you wish to support the podcast further, you can at patreon.com/NNRC podcast. As a patron, you will receive early releases, special content, and Patreon-only giveaways. Also, please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and our website, www.nnrcpodcast.com. Remember, Nitro is the glory, but e-buggy pays the bills. If you aren't having fun, it doesn't make sense. And if you ain't grinding, you're sliding lefty out. Nitro is the glory. Nitro is the glory. Nitro is the glory.
That wasn't so bad.